Hey, you want to cook me on the topic of hems? I don't know if that's a good look. Wow, M's out here gonna get canceled. Oh, I did the wrong one. Um, yeah. AG insists that you like probably won't get banned on this topic, but like just to be safe. Oh wait, I almost did the typical. Hey, but how's everyone doing? Can I mod Juno? I think so. I hope so. I can. What which perms? I know that we give like specific perm. I guess it probably doesn't matter. Whoa, it's a wild AG. Hey, how's it
What
going?
up? How are
Yeah,
you?
doing well, doing well. Hey, to everyone in the audience on TikTok, is there something I don't know, does the heading gotta get all the voice cracks out sooner rather than later, you know, gotta get them out pre-debate rather than mid-debate. But is there something wrong with like the title?
Yeah, I'd move it down a bit.
Okay.
You want me to send you a screenshot of it?
Sure. Although it looks different if you're in the guest request box as opposed to not.
That is true. Hang on, I'll look
Hmm.
on my alt account on my iPad.
Okay. Yeah. It's too big.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, you shrink it a little bit.
Fuck. Okay, how's this? Is that is that excellent? Does that yeah, tough even.
Yeah,
Let's
that looks
go.
good.
Hey, big W. Well, hey, if you disagree with the topic, use a different color. I mean, I guess I could do that. I feel like this topic, there's like two things that are going to be working against us in terms of getting guests relatively quickly, which is that, you know, I'm on my alt, so it's going to disfavor getting guests. And the second one is that I think this topic also just gets like fewer guests. Um, Although I could change the color. So, okay, I think all that is to say, I do have the ability, I have the capability to change the color right now. If I so choose, you know, that's like something that I could easily do. I like for sure have the time to do it. What color do you think I should make the join if you disagree portion of it?
Did you see what they made in the chat in your mod chat on Discord?
No, no,
You
I
should
don't
check that one
know.
out.
I don't see goddamn anything.
They made a whole like nothing is wrong with being gay like banner
Oh,
with a
wait,
rainbow.
wait, did they?
Yeah, it actually looks pretty good.
Fuck. Yeah, let me just run that. Hold on.
Ian, it's the one I sent you.
Okay, yeah, sure. Um, let me upload that. But hey, if you're in that guest request box, we're only looking for opposition. Only request to join if you think that there's, you know, something wrong with it. Um, you also got to be 18 or older. It's TikTok terms of service. Um, erm. Okay, yeah. Banger. Banger background. This is like way the fuck better than what I had thrown together. Okay, how's that? I guess we'll get the first guest on up in here. Hey, how's it going? Fuck! I should have known. I should have known. Well, if you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older and that you disagree with the topic. Don't request to join otherwise. 2 in a row? It's crazy. I don't know. I don't know what the point of that one was supposed to be. Is like the meme like it's copyrighted music, so it's gonna get the channel harmed, or like did bro just want to like share a song that he likes with the rest of us? He just wanted to give us like a little music recommendation. No, I remember, and in some of like the older days of TikTok, definitely there'd be like some people who would come on, and then they would just be there to like plug their shit, and then they'd leave. Fucking, you can't even be too mad, you know. Got to respect the hustle. It's just what it takes to survive as a struggling artist in today's day and age. But yeah, hey, if you disagree with the background, if you think that there is something wrong with being gay, feel free to request to join. I would love to debate it with you. Although, yeah, I don't know. There's a great book that I read about this topic, titled "The Moral Defense of Homosexuality" by Chris Myers. It's like an analytic philosophy book. So it just goes through all the arguments that people might want to give for why it's wrong, and then it gives like counterexamples and reductios and whatnot. Hey, how's it going?
Hi, Ian. Did
Yeah.
you get banned?
No. How old are
Who's
you?
Bad Faith Berry?
That's my all. How old are you?
16.
You gotta be 18 or older. It's the all. Read some context clues, my dude, my good friend. You also got to be 18 or older. If you're not 18 or older, don't request to join. Um, One thing I have like a lot of the notes for the book in like a Google Doc. I'm thinking about switching it over to like a Good Notes document. Um, hmm. I wonder I wonder if the guest requests are going to be like way too fucking slow. I wonder if I need to switch over just to my different account. Or like to my main account, and then if it gets like sticky, then I'll simply
I haven't been banned on this topic. In fact, I can fully say like why is being gay wrong? Can use the word. I don't think you're going to get banned, to be honest. Like you typically might get a restriction for hate speech, and it's the guest, but then you just hit a restart if you wanted to. I have not been banned for this topic since it got deleted. So I honestly think you should be good. Like I've been running it, like almost, I mean, well, for weekly. You should be good, to be honest.
hmm. I think I'm I think I'm probably yeah. Yeah. Hmm. I
And if
don't
you get a
know.
restriction, you don't want to risk it, then we can just come back here and you can repost it and post it on your. You
Hmm.
can repost it and then post it on your story.
Sure. Molly, what do you think?
I'm for it.
Okay, sure. Yep. All right. I'm gonna come back on my main. Give me just 1 second. Unless this person is an op. Hey, how's it going? How old are you? Yep. And what do you disagree with the background? Okay. What do you think is wrong with being gay?
'Cause I want all the boys for myself.
Ah, you're fucking greedy. This guy's gonna get smited not for being gay, but for being a greedy fuck. All right. I'm gonna go try to run this on my main topic on my main channel, and we'll see. What? Oh my gosh. It's gonna make me do the whole song and dance, dude. Hey, I need you to push me through.
Gotcha.
Yeah. Okay. One sec. Sorry, gang. I'm getting it all together. It takes just a minute because it's a horrible system. It's a horrible app. The people are horrible. And you know, the developers of TikTok are, you know, an excellent example of how like being unwise gives you like bad moral character, because these motherfuckers are both unwise and have bad moral character. All right, let's get the stream started. Yay. We're on the move. Yay. Let's go. Yeah, thank you so much, Poopman Jones. I appreciate that. Make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff. Only request to join if you think that there is something wrong with being gay. If you don't disagree with the topic, don't request to join. We're only looking for debates today. Who is? Sure.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Hey, yeah, how old are you?
51.
Do you think there's something wrong with being gay?
No. Well, it's very complex for my idea, okay? And what I would say is that it's not necessarily the thought, it is the action.
Yeah, what's wrong with the action?
Well, the Bible says that, you know, that homosexuality is, you know, detestable.
Okay. Why does that give a reason for gay people to not do it, though? Like, let's say you're gay and you don't care what the Bible says. Do you have any reason at all to not engage in that sort of activity?
Yeah, I don't believe in fornication.
Like, at all? You don't think it exists?
I believe it exists, but if you're, well, if the gay people are married and they're having, you know, sex,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's different. But if you're not married and there's a different problem. See, I only know what the Bible says to me. Okay?
Okay, I guess, like, why would I take the ethics of the Bible seriously? It says that you can own slaves.
That's not. It's very different. You must be an atheist, right?
Yeah.
Well, you always take that out of context.
Yeah, what sort of
Because-
context do you think is there that would help you out?
Well, if you look at history, which you don't, you would understand that there is a lot more than actual slavery about in the Bible. It's very different than like American slavery.
I don't think I mentioned American slavery. So the
I
common
did, but
thing
okay.
is the common thing is people owned as property. If we don't have, I mean, if you own a person as property, that's slavery. Full stop.
Yeah, but did you know, which I'm sure you did, that they're released after 6 years?
That's not true for all of them. That's true for the Israelites who own other Israelites as slaves. That's not true for like the
Well,
people from the
the
nations
Israelites
around
were
you. Those
set-
were slaves for life. If you look to verses like Leviticus 25, 44 through 46, it says, "As for the male and female slaves whom you may have, it is from the nations around you that you may acquire male and female slaves. You may also acquire them from among the aliens residing with you, and from their families who are with you who have been born in your land. They may be your property. You may keep them as a possession for your children after you, for them to inherit as property. These you may treat as slaves, but as for your fellow Israelites, no one shall rule over the other with harshness." So specifically, it says like you can own them forever. You can own them so long that if you die, you can give them to your kids. They're not just property; they're inheritable property. These are like slaves for life.
Okay, but God did not condone
What
slavery.
do you think he's doing here?
Well, that's not true in First Timothy. It literally says, "Let all those who are under the yoke of slavery regard their masters as worthy of all honor, so that the name of God and the teaching may not be blasphemed."
No, but look, see, if you don't know who Hagar, do you know who that is?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, she was a slave. And she said, "This is the God who sees me."
Do you think that Hagar consented in the like? Do you think slaves can consent to sex?
No, I mean, I don't think she I don't think she was raped, though.
She didn't consent, and fuck.
It
Is it
does not
Abraham?
say
Is it
that. It
Abraham
does
who
not
had
say
sex with
that.
her?
It does not say
Yeah,
that. But
but
she was
if
not
somebody
raped.
doesn't consent to sex and you have sex with them, what do we call that?
Yeah, and God knows. And God knows. He says.
But wait, let's just get clear. What do we call that? What is that?
Okay, God, no, well, he hold on. Hagar, look, God he loved Abraham, very much so.
Yeah.
But he loved Hagar as well. And he made mistakes, right? That was a cultural thing. And she said when she went to the forest that this is the God who sees her. Because she had been abused by Sarai.
Yeah, that's very compelling. You have this slave who gets raped, and then the slave runs away, and then God comes down like a reverse Harriet Tubman and says, "Actually, you should really go back to being a slave. Your life was much better off when you were a slave. You should turn your ass around and go keep on being a slave for Abraham." Like, do you think that's a good story? That's horrible.
I think it is a good story because God always stands with the oppressed.
No, he doesn't. He said, "Go back to being a slave."
Wait,
he didn't come down to Abraham and say, "Listen, Abraham, my dog,
he didn't say,
stop
"Well,
raping
stop
your
being a slave,"
slaves."
because that's not how it works. Do you not understand the concept of free will? Come on now.
Wait, God literally thinks it's a good thing. Why wouldn't God come down there and discourage Abraham from doing it?
And also, there's a difference.
We're not going to get an answer to that question.
I'm not answering that, but there's a difference from having something and something that exists and endorsing it. But
I mean, it certainly seems like God's priorities weren't getting rid of slavery. It seems like God's priorities, he was like very, very wrapped up with making sure that this one slave returns to Abraham.
okay, but you are reading ancient law, ancient law, and the Bible moves toward
Are you trying to say this is in the Old Testament?
I mean, I am in a sense, but what I'm really truly saying is that but yeah, I mean, I am saying that in a sense.
Where are your anti-gay verses coming from?
My anti-gay?
Yeah.
It's not anti-gay.
It's not anti-gay to think that people engaging in gay sex are doing like a despicable, immoral action.
No, I'm not homophobic.
Of course not. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, true. Surely nobody's coming away with the impression that you're homophobic.
No, you don't even understand. I have gay friends. I have fornicating
Oh,
friends.
really?
I have lustful friends. Yes.
Name 2 gay friends.
Like their real names.
Just like their first names.
Henry and Lysandra.
Okay. Lysandra. You got the fucking like League of Legends character.
I don't know what that is.
Granted. Okay. But what are the verses that outlaw being gay? Where do those verses come from? Like,
It's not about outlawing. It just is
well, it says like they're gonna get killed. Like you should put them to death. You should throw stones at them until
Yes,
they
stop
die,
that.
is what it
Stop.
says.
Stop. No, that's wrong. Stop.
Okay.
Stop.
I can pull up the verse.
Hush. Okay. Shit. Okay, I'm good. Hold on. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I love my gay friends.
Yeah. But I mean, the Bible says that you should put them to death. Yeah, it says in Leviticus 20:13, if a man lies with a male as with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination. They shall be put to death. Their blood guilt is upon them.
Yeah, well, but yeah, that
It's from the
well,
Old
no,
Testament too. So
I
the same
know, but
reason that you're
my
saying it's
verse.
wrong to be
No,
gay
no.
also would say that it's okay to own slaves.
But no, that's an ancient law. Ancient law. So
Sorry, what was the response there supposed to be? I think I got that's ancient law. That's ancient law.
well, it
Do you have like a
is.
substantive response there or?
Well, I mean, it is. Look at we could go to First
So either
Corinthians.
you accept the ancient law, in which case
I mean, I don't really.
okay, you don't. Sure.
I
So
don't.
then what's gonna be like the reason for thinking that it's wrong to be gay?
It's in First Corinthians. I believe it's First Corinthians
6:9. Do you read King James Version or ESV? What version do you read?
New King James, or NIV. But I will for this.
What are the what are the Greek words that are used to make up the word homosexual in 1 Corinthians 6:9?
Hold on. I'm trying to find it in my Bible. Hold on. I know the verse. I'm just trying to find. Okay.
6:9.
I know, got it. Okay, never should hit you. Flee all other senses commits outside the body. Never do you know who. Hold on. Well, yeah, okay. Or do you not know that wrongdoers will not inherit the kingdom of God? Do not be deceived, neither the sexually immoral, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor men who have sex with men, nor thieves, nor the greedy, nor drunkards, nor slanderers, nor swindlers will inherit the kingdom of God.
Do you think a good definition of homosexuality would be men sleeping with men, even if it was against somebody's will?
Well, like gay rape or something like that. I think that's
No, I would just call that grape. I wouldn't call that gay. I would just say that somebody got graped. Do you think that saying that a man lying with another man is how we would define homosexuality?
I mean, yes, yes.
So the romantic part is irrelevant. It's only if they have sex,
Yeah, I know. That's what I said.
even if it's against their will, because this would account for even like men being raped by other men. So it seems like it's a pretty poor definition if they're being raped. You know, if it accounts for people that are being raped.
Yeah, because, well, it's still not the way the thought is different from the action, right?
Well, wait, I'm sorry. I keep on coming back to this. Even if you want to talk about the New Testament, why would I take biblical ethics seriously at all? I mean, Jesus says that you can't get a divorce even if your husband is like beating the shit out of you.
That is not what he
Yeah, he
says.
says that it's sin unless the reason for the divorce is sexual immorality. Every other thing is off the table for divorce. Your husband could be wailing on you like 24/7 constantly, and Jesus doesn't think you should get divorced.
Okay, but that's not true because if we look at,
No,
I'm
let's
trying
read
to find.
Matthew 19,
Yep.
5 through 9 gives direct commands for the only reasons in which you should leave marriage is for I think it's only for idolatry, right?
Adultery.
No,
Wow, apparently
Adultery,
you could be
yes.
like raping your wife every single night, and that wouldn't be grounds for divorce.
Well,
These
yeah,
are-
I mean they didn't really care about that anyways, considering Deuteronomy 22, 10 through 19.
okay.
You can
Not
rape
with the
people.
Deuteronomy law.
You brought up Leviticus, and then
I did bring up Leviticus because it was the first thing, but hold on, I'm trying to think. Yeah.
But do you think that the sexual ethics of the Bible are something we should take seriously? If in Leviticus
Yes.
18:19 it says you can't have
Yes.
sex with a woman on her period, and then what
Yes.
Ian just brought up is that you could be wailed on and be raped
Yeah,
by your
because-
husband, and Jesus doesn't think you should get a divorce, why should we take those sexual ethics seriously?
Grok, uncook me.
No. Yeah, look, two are very. Look, two are explicit. They are explicit and they are clear. Sexual immorality and abandonment and abuse. If someone is harming you instead of loving you, they've already broken the marriage.
Yeah, what's the verse for that? Because I have
Well, I can
Matthew
give you a few.
19:9, and I
I
say to
can
you,
give you
whoever
a-
divorces his wife
Mika-
except for sexual immorality and marries another commits adultery, and he who marries a divorced woman commits adultery. So if you divorce your wife or if you divorce your husband because he's like beating the fuck out of you every single day, and then you go and marry somebody else, Jesus thinks that's adultery.
Ian, what's the punishment for adultery?
Death, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Shit.
So you should be not only can you not leave for, being abused in your relationship, but then after you leave, you should be unalived.
No.
Yes. I guess do you have a verse?
Yes, I have a verse. Would you like me to present it to you?
Yeah, that was implied. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So one, sexual immorality. We already talked about that. Abandonment. If an unbelieving
What's the
spouse.
verse?
What you ask? What?
Yeah, what's the verse? Typically there's like a book and then there's like a chapter.
Oh, I thank you for telling me. Yeah. So Matthew 19:9. Matthew
That's not
5.
your verse. That's my verse.
I know, but it's
That verse
just a
doesn't
part.
prove your point. That verse
Yes,
proves
well,
my
it does in a
point.
sense.
My
But I'm
point is that your
saying,
husband can be beating the shit out of you, and you still can't divorce him and marry somebody else, or else that's adultery. The verse
But
literally says, and I say to you, whoever divorces his wife except for sexual immorality and marries another commits adultery, and who marries a divorced woman commits adultery.
I love you, Lord.
That's literally my verse.
Never fail.
Are we singing now? Do we want to sing a song together, Ian?
Sweet Caroline.
1 Corinthians 7:15.
1 Corinthians 7:15.
If an unbelieving spouse leaves, the believer is not bound in that situation.
Okay. Yeah. Do you choose Paul's word?
Abandonment.
Sorry, do you choose Paul's words or do you choose Jesus's words?
I choose Jesus, but
Yeah, and
Paul,
who's speaking in Corinthians?
The Bible. Shit.
If you're off the app, I can't hear you.
Is she speaking in tongues, or is it a language I'm not catching on to?
I'm speaking in tongues.
Of course you are.
Oh, I just assumed it was like millennial.
I'm 51 years old.
Yeah, that's about as old as millennials, if I'm not mistaken.
No, I'm Gen X.
Oh.
Even better.
That's up for debate.
Okay, but so I got 1 Corinthians 7, and then the verses, to the rest I say, I and not the Lord, that if any brother has a wife who is an unbeliever and she consents to live with him, he should not divorce her. Oh, this doesn't seem to support your point. And if any woman has a husband who is an unbeliever and he consents to live with her, she should not divorce the husband. For the unbelieving husband is made holy through the wife, and the unbelieving wife is made holy through the brother. Otherwise, your children would be unclean, but as it is, they are holy. But if the unbelieving partner separates, let it be so. In such a case, the brother or sister is not bound. So this proves my point even further. This is literally saying that you can't get a divorce if you are a believer. That if they leave you, but you're a believer, they're not a believer, then you can get remarried, which contradicts Jesus's words, but that's fine. We'll set that aside. So do you have another verse that you'd like to try?
Yeah. Look at Ephesians 5:25.
Is this what it's like inside of the Catholic Church?
Why
You
should I
think
care
I'm
what?
Catholic?
Wait, why should I care what Ephesians says when Ephesians 6:5-9 directly says that you should obey your earthly master as you obey Christ, which would be your slave master?
I'm not listening to that right now.
Yeah, I figured you wouldn't want to.
Because I'm just trying to make my point. But I'm not a Catholic. I am a Baptist Pentecostal.
I bet the Catholics are like shaking their heads. They're like, of course it's a Protestant.
No, two of my best friends are Catholic.
Yeah, I'm sure.
And we love each other. We're both sisters in Christ, and we love each other.
Okay, husbands, love your wife just as Christ loved the church. Where's the verse that says that you can divorce your husband if he beats the shit out of you? I'm just looking for a verse that says if your husband beats the shit out of you.
Show me where it says it's okay
I'm not
to beat your wife.
I'm not claiming that it says that it's okay to beat your wife. I'm claiming that Jesus says that you can't divorce your husband or your wife if they're beating the fuck out of you. Jesus does not say that that is an acceptable circumstance to get a divorce in. They may be doing something wrong that violates some sort of like different law, but there's no law that says that you can divorce your partner if they're wailing on you.
Yeah, well, if you think that he allows abuse, that he wants it to be an abusive relationship, you've obviously misunderstood him in his word.
That's not what I claimed. Is there a verse that says that you can get divorced if your husband is beating you?
Jesus never permits domestic violence.
Is there a
So
verse
that
that
is
says that you can get
that is what I
divorced
will
if you
say.
find
If you'd like
yourself
to
in
go
that
back to the topic, I'm
circumstance?
happy to talk about that. But Jesus never condones domestic violence.
Are you sure you want to talk about the topic? This is like directly relevant. You're claiming that the reason why it's wrong to be gay is because the Bible says so. The Bible's ethics are crazy.
I've been divorced.
According to Jesus, well, then you're in violation of what Jesus is saying, unless the reason
No,
for your
I'm not,
divorce was
because
that
it was
your partner
abandonment.
cheated
It
on
was
you. That's
abandonment.
out of line with Jesus's teachings.
No, it's not. Look at
Yes, it
Exodus.
is.
Look at
well,
Exodus.
Look at Exodus. Oh wait,
Yes,
sorry.
that's
I
what I
thought that was the old law. I thought we were moving on to the new law.
They're different.
Oh yeah. And which one do you accept? Maybe you could eat like a different time.
Oh, I have to eat that because of a health problem.
Okay. Maybe you could at least like mute your microphone.
Okay, well, I'll try next time.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, well, look,
Claude,
the
me this debate.
moral law in Exodus should be kept.
It says that you can beat your slaves in Exodus. Are you sure?
Shit. That's not a that's like a ceremonial law.
I thought you said that the law should be kept.
I said that the moral law should be kept.
Okay. Yeah, where in Exodus does it make these differentiations? Okay. Well, all right, this is it's starting to feel a bit ableist. I'm pulling the ripcord on that one, you know.
I was looking at her profile picture, and I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'll keep those thoughts to myself. But she didn't look like she looked like a teen boy. That's all I'm gonna say.
What the fuck? She does. How can that be?
Did you see that? Right?
Yeah, what the fuck?
Because, like, her voice, though.
That's, like, obviously what this is.
Yeah, but that's, like, really, really good.
Yeah. She definitely does have the voice, yeah.
Somebody said bold coming from AG. Well, you're not wrong there.
Dalton Smith thinks so. First of all, that's like. Oh wait. Oh, sure. Sorry. Is the audio good on YouTube? I'm now catching up. It looks like the audio. There were like audio problems. Okay, sure. Dalton Smith, thanks so much for the super chat. Appreciate it. Hey Lainey, thanks so much for the super chat. Hi Ian, I just picked up Michael Huemer's book and I'm reading it on my own time. Thanks for piquing my interest in philosophy. I'm so glad. It makes me so happy to hear people getting into philosophy. I wish you the best of luck. You know, all of the discussions for all the weeks of all the chapters. We have recordings of them in the Discord. We'd love to see. Please clip, or 89 Wampus, thanks so much for the super chat. Please clip literally anything from this. I don't know if this one was good enough to clip. Anyway, if you're in that guest request box, make sure that you're 18 or older. Make sure that you believe that there's something wrong with being gay. We're only looking to debate opposition. If you're not opposition, don't request to join. And that will go to the very next guest. Unless they don't join, in which case we'll go to the very next guest. The guest after that even. Hey, how's it going?
Good, man.
You're a bit quiet.
Yeah, can you hear me now?
Yeah. How old are you?
22.
Yep.
What?
And do you think that there's something wrong with being gay?
I mean, personally, there are two avenues, right, Ian? There are people that choose to be gay, and then there are people that are taught to be.
No.
Personal experiences. You
So
don't.
there's a couple of facts that I think you're going to be like radically incapable of explaining. For example, how would you explain the fact that people who are gay, when they have a twin, that twin is more likely to be gay, even if they're separated by great distances via something like adoption? How would you explain a fact like that?
Great. I'm glad you asked because let's say that the twins, for example, they decided to move to a new house, right? But they hate each other.
Wait, sorry, do you think this answers my question? What do you think my question was?
All right. So, yeah, what? All right. If you knew the question that you were supposed to ask, why didn't you just make it more clear so
Okay.
then you would get a circumstance?
If you didn't hear the question or didn't track the question, why didn't you just ask for me to repeat it? I'm totally happy to repeat it. So, my question is this: why is it the case that when you have adopted twins, that if one of them is gay, it's way more likely for the other one to be gay, even if they're adopted by other families? And this is not an effect that you see in non-gay twins that get adopted. Non-gay twins that get adopted, it's no more likely that the other one will be gay than the general population. So why would that be the case? That somehow, based on just the environment that they, were grown in the womb, that they
Okay, I
are
get.
made to
Listen,
be gay
bro.
somehow in a way
One of
that
them
involves no choice on their part.
Let's say it first. That's your answer, bro.
Hmm?
One of them was sexually assaulted first. That led them to be gay, and then he.
They're both equally likely to be gay.
No. Now you're putting circumstances into what you asked.
The
You see,
question had circumstances in it. You should really try to track a bit better.
No, you're being a propagandist. You're not answering
So
my
an identical twin is 5 times more likely to be gay if their identical twin is also gay.
Okay,
Even if they get adopted, you can't possibly explain that fact if you think being gay is a choice. That's like ridiculous. And if your hypothesis is that, well, one of them must have gotten like sexually assaulted, then you would just expect to see these effects within identical twins that get adopted regularly. But you don't. You don't see these effects at all.
You would see it throughout the entire lifetime if it's not reported and if there's like beef involved, if there's issues involved within that. But you are trying to say that people are genuinely born to be gay. That is terrorism. You're causing terrorism. Yeah.
Okay, that's like really funny.
Yeah, that is funny because
You're causing like psychic terrorism. Like every single person that's watching is taking like mental damage. You're actively like draining like the thoughts and ideas and creativity of like
why?
every
Because
single
I don't
viewer.
work a 9 to 5 and I'm here beating you in what you literally get paid to do. Is that
Wow.
why you're?
I really feel beat.
doing
It
for
feels like,
free.
I'm getting like the fuck beaten out of me with your inability to track or answer the question. Do you even remember the question that I was asking you?
Yes, you were talking about twins if they were born likely to be gay.
He's
What is
so
the
confused, dude. Oh my god. How would you explain the fact that identical twins are 5 times more likely to be gay if their twin is gay, but non-identical twins are 2.5 times more likely to be gay if their twin is gay? How would you explain that fact?
well-documented source of that so then we can continue this argument?
But why would that differ between identical twins and non-identical twins?
Because you just asked that lady that she needs a source.
Holy shit, dude. He's fucking sprinting like a motherfucker.
I'm not sprinting. I'm trying to tell you that you're wrong and you don't understand circumstances.
Do you want to try to explain that fact? Do you not even want to attempt it, or?
Okay, here's a real question. Okay,
I already asked you a real question.
Do you want to go gay from? Do you want to talk about gay from a biological aspect?
I'm so sorry. Do you just want to go ahead and answer?
Do you want to speak about gay from a biological or an experience?
I want you to answer the question, bud.
Okay, restate.
Yeah. How would you explain the fact that identical twins are 5 times more likely to be gay if their identical twin is gay, but non-identical twins are 2.5 times more likely to be gay if their non-identical twin is gay? How would you explain that disparity? Like, why is the number different?
Well, they wouldn't be inherently gay. It
Why
wouldn't be
why is the number different there
because you're
between
trying to
identical twins and non-identical twins?
because you're here trying to claim that gay is a genetic aspect.
Why is the number different? Also, to be
If it
clear,
was
my
a
view is that
genetic
it's
aspect,
epigenetic,
people wouldn't have
but you're
created
probably too stupid to
LGBTQ,
know
and
what
we wouldn't
epigenetic
talk
even
about
means.
that. So now you're absolutely trying to like bicker with me, right?
Mm,
Because you lost the
You're
argument.
absolutely
yeah.
dodging. Would you like to answer the damn question?
Like, listen, you got a little
Why
like,
is the number different, bud? Do you even want to attempt?
yes, I do. I do want to attempt. All right,
Yeah. So, first of all, what question did I ask you?
you just told me. You said if the you're looking
Do I
word
need to
from
write it down for you? Or are you like more of like a visual learner? Do I need
Put
to
it on
give
the
you
put it on the notepad.
like an accessibility accommodation?
just being twin is means that you're born from the same pregnancy. You're trying to give a circumstance to the twins.
Okay, let me. Okay. So we have these two data points. An identical twin is 5 times more likely to be gay if their twin is gay. Wait, sorry, let me 1 sec. Let me drag this all the way down there.
Okay, let's do this.
Yeah, how would you explain these data points? The first is that an identical twin is 5 times more likely to be gay if their twin is gay, and the second is that a non-identical twin is 2.5 times more likely to be gay if their twin is gay. If it's not genetic in origin, how would you possibly explain a thing like that?
Because it's not a guarantee. What you're saying is not a complete
Why
guarantee.
is the number different?
Because numbers vary in studies. That's right.
Why does the number across all of the gay identical twins differ so much from the number across all of the gay non-identical twins?
Okay, because when we speak about the studies, right, and how the numbers actually vary, right, this only tells researchers that genetics plays a role. Just because
Sure, then you agree that genetics does play a role in whether or not people turn out to be gay.
yeah, so if you're playing a role, are you really that person? If I play Peter Pan, am I Peter Pan? That's
well,
right.
certainly it's
That's
going to
right,
be a
you-
part of the
I-
whoa, let's just calm down there, mouth breather. No need to get upset. Just take a deep breath.
All right.
Yeah, certainly it's going to cause some sort of causal effect is what the stats seem to show.
Okay, so you want to grift through the sense of alienism. Okay.
Whoa,
So
you're a bit quiet. I think
Okay.
you might not have an
I'm
understanding of
quiet.
how like a microphone works.
I think you're having a brain bleed.
Oh yeah, you think? Do you think between the two of us, if we asked 30 people to assign who is having a brain bleed based on watching this conversation, you think that they'd say that I'm the one who's having one?
No,
If I'm having a brain bleed, the only reason why I would be having it is because of the sheer stupidity that I've had to endure from you in the past like 15 minutes.
So using intuitive personal attacks to defend
Intuitive. He's agreeing that the personal attacks are intuitive.
Yeah.
What a sick self-dunk because you wanted to use a word that you didn't know the meaning of.
I'm calling you a smart dumbass because
Okay.
for example, if you got arrested for anything, you would probably act this way. You wouldn't just shut up. You literally keep
No,
talking.
I would if I got arrested for something, I'd plead the fifth. That's obvious.
I would hope you do because, dude, you would literally. I would hope to God that you understand.
Can you answer the propositions up there? Like, can you or not propositions rather, but can you answer like the question that we've been asking you the whole time?
Data
Or you
points.
just got whining? Because like none of us are therapists, and you're not paying us, so nobody wants to hear you whine.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna answer what AG said
Mhm.
because he thinks I'm whining. That's great. I like that. I like it.
Obviously true, by the way. Intuitive even.
Okay, so
Super intuitive.
so listen. I can go and research. We can both research, Ian, on this statistic here. But remember, you need to give a actual like you need to get a video of a pregnant woman pumping out twins and then not raising them to be gay. Them both actually saying, "Mom, Dad, I'm gay." Like
Yeah.
that's what you need. You need to do that right now, and that needs to be installed.
Yeah, I could give you the study if you're interested.
Because TB can make you gay. Somebody
No
attacking
evidence
you.
for that.
All right. Well,
What? Yeah. Wait.
there.
What's the source for that? Let's go source for source.
All right. So check out what brain damage can really do to you.
Can I get the name of a specific study for the claim that you just made? Because what you just said was an empirical claim.
Go on statistics and check how.
Go on statistics.
Yes. Go on that and.
Do you know a lot of statistics?
Bro, I'm trying to answer the 2
Statistics.com.
Just give me like the name of
only.
the study or something.
Okay, so let me search it up.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Also, if you want, the study that would demonstrate my point, homosexual orientation in twins report on 61 pairs and 3 triplet sets. They evaluate. Debate doc, you're gonna have to help me translate these into the normal people words. What's dizygotic versus monozygotic?
I was actually about to bring something like that up. Yep.
Let me
So dizygotic is when you have 2 different eggs, 2 different ova that are fertilized simultaneously, and so you have 2 separate zygotes with distinct DNA.
Sure. Okay. So non-identical.
Non-identical, exactly. Fraternal.
Okay.
Monozygotic is when you have 1 egg that's fertilized, and then early in the kind of growth process, the zygote, the initial zygote splits
Holy shit, dude.
into 2 separate organisms, and so they have identical DNA.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm totally tracking. Yeah.
What?
So identical twins are monozygotic, and then fraternal or non-identical twins are dizygotic.
Not true, because
Did that really lose you? Did that really go over your head?
What are you trying to say? Why are you trying to say that people are genetically gay, bro? Then America would be
There's
illegal.
a good indication that it's a combination of genetic and epigenetic, specifically like the conditions within the womb.
Yeah. Can I propose a couple hypotheses to you, my friend?
You cannot propose any hypothetical, hypological, it doesn't matter. What you're saying is immoral. You're saying that there are
This
gay
dude is like
zygotes.
giga low IQ, like terminally low IQ. He's gonna die of like IQ loss. He's like Benjamin Button, but for like IQ.
When they look for this in people, they drain people's IQ this way. This is how they eat. This is how they sleep, and this is how they live. This is a fucking online jubilee, bro.
Is it about IQ vampires? Is that what you're talking about?
Holy shit! This is like crazy.
Like Charlie Kirk wouldn't tell it to you.
Whoa! Promoted live. Let's just take a deep breath there. Do you have a study that would support the claim that you're making that being the victim of like domestic violence can make you gay?
Okay. If you yes, because somebody can sneak into your home at night and they can do something to you, and then now look, guess what happens? You're scarred for life.
Bro,
Yeah.
I know that's not how you tried to substantiate your claim.
Yeah, they broke into your house and they're like, be gay, be gay, be gay, be gay, be gay, be gay, and then you're gay.
So-
I think you got me, man.
There's nothing you can do about it. It's peer reviewed.
Promoted, if this is the case, that being gay is a choice, since I know that you're just not going to answer what Ian's asking, Ian, is it okay if I ask a
Yeah,
separate
go for it.
question? Okay. And maybe we can get back to your biological claim. If it is the case that you can choose to be gay, how come aversive conditioning through torture methods didn't work against gay people through conversion therapy to change them from homosexual to heterosexual?
Because they're doing the Frankenstein method where they're trying to create test subjects, right? To falsify a claim. That's why. And these women right here that are not saying what I'm trying to say here, they are the women that are either rich women or they're broke women controlled by a rich monarchy that are sent by either patriarchy or feminism to destroy the
What
families.
the
What
fuck?
tinfoil do you wear, bro?
That's
See, now you're being hella
that might be the
weird.
craziest sentence that anyone has ever uttered. Maybe of all time on my stream.
That's great value brand tinfoil right there.
Yeah, maybe Dollar General.
What the hell? She's not even making any sense, chat.
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
I'm not making
AG
sense.
is the one not making sense.
Yeah,
what
for
a
sure,
fuck.
bro.
Thumbs down for AG right now, guys. Thumbs down. Let's go.
That's all right. But you still didn't really answer my question. You kind of went on a ramble tangent about some weird conspiracy theory that you pulled out of your ass. I really want an answer to my question about how come, if this is true, that gay people choose to be gay, that aversive conditioning through torture methods on gay people in California were condemned and said that it did not work to convert them from homosexual to heterosexual.
So what you're doing right now is you're repeating a question in a different way when I've already given a response, and you're going to keep doing that.
What's your understanding of the question that AG asked you? It's like a very simple thing.
And what it's like to lose a debate, right? And then like sit
He didn't
down.
listen to the question and now he's trying to grandstand. There's no way you think grandstanding is going to be a good look after a debate performance like yours. You got like eviscerated on the substance, eviscerated on the rhetoric. Every single time you try to move to rhetoric, it goes like really bad for you. I mean, like, I just don't know. I think that eating a slice of humble pie and just showing up to the debate to try to actually engage with it might actually do you well. Maybe you could answer the question. AG's question is very straightforward. If being gay is a choice, then why weren't we able to torture people out of being gay?
Why weren't, or why
Yeah,
weren't
they
you?
tried to torture people into not being gay and it didn't work. They were still gay. How could you possibly explain that?
How could I explain that? Immorality? Sure, I'll tell you. Well, the reason for that is because people genuinely, it's not a gene issue, it's a mentality issue.
Then why didn't torturing them make them adopt like a different mentality? Surely you would have expected at least some of them to do that.
There would be no, back then the incentive mentality would be that there would be an incentive for them to be gay.
Whoa, this guy has like some good emotional control.
Whoa, hey, don't cortisol max, bro. It's it makes you age. It's okay, bud.
Curriculum in schools that are able to give that dialysis. If we don't,
you didn't have that back then. Back in the 50s, they didn't teach about gay people. Gay people were hiding because it was illegal for them to exist, and so that's why I'm bringing up conversion therapy.
Exactly. So people are hiding the fact that that shit is true, and there was no curriculum, and people were trying to investigate to figure out what is the actual truth.
So, and the truth was that gay people couldn't choose it.
They are still pushing an agenda to harm other people in order to create.
Gosh, why is this dude's like brain like dripping out of his ears?
Change. You need to stop that shit.
You're like for some reason incapable of like engaging or giving a response that makes even a little bit of sense.
It's incoherent. There's no argument.
So hold on.
Just emotional pleas, and I'm not a therapist, and neither is Ian, and neither is Doc. So I don't know who you're trying to emotionally plead to, but we just want straight answers to the questions.
What they're doing right now is they're trying to Jordan Peterson someone. So like, they're gonna try to make somebody. They don't care. They don't care, chat. If they actually cared, they'll be like, okay, let's get through this. Let's work together. But I'm just glad that they're acting this way, because look at people connecting here. They get people singing in the call rather than answering the question. They get mimers. They get trolls. Like listen, like what's really the point to all of this? Like,
it's a great question. Yeah. Do you think we should focus more on people who answer as opposed to the ones that don't?
Yeah, and you should get a statistic for that.
Okay. Sounds good, G. Well, make sure you're double tapping on that screen, sharing it with your friends, doing all that good stuff.
What a bummer. I wanted to try to explain a couple things, but
Yeah.
hopeless.
Okay, wait. So based on this study, so the study is saying that there's a 65.8% concordance rate of homosexual orientation among monozygotic twins and a 30.4% concordance rate for dizygotic twins. Should I take that to be indicating that like the disparity there is based on genetics, like it comes to like straight for genetics, or do you think that's
Yeah.
probably still in line with like the epigenetic explanation?
So I think one explains epigenetic, like one is fairly well explained by epigenetics, and one is fairly well explained by genetics. So I think that what the stat for the dizygotic twins is demonstrating is that is that there's an environmental influence, both intrauterine and potentially kind of once they're born, the environment in which they grow up, kind of a nurture component, but definitely like an intrauterine environment component to it, which would be the epigenetic influence. So the influence of the kind of hormonal milieu that they're in, like while they're growing in the uterus, like how that influences their ultimate sexual orientation. So that'd be the epigenetic component, and potentially a nurture component. And then the fact that it's even higher in the monozygotic twins or the identical twins who have the same DNA demonstrates that on top of that, there's also a genetic component that is influencing their sexual orientation. Because that's the benefit of twin studies. So dizygotic twin studies, they're in the same intrauterine environment.
Yeah.
And then presumably, if they grow up together, at least a very similar kind of childhood and adolescent environment. And then if you've got monozygotic twins who grow up together, then on top of those same similarities, they also share identical genetics.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. I have a ton of super chats to read. Prod, Polarx says, thanks so much for the cool Corey membership. I appreciate you. Let's get a big W for Prod. Sonos Percussion, thanks so much for the 20 gifted memberships. Big W for Sonos Percussion. Grandma's Sweet Titties, thanks so much for the super chat. I heard a theory that people that believe being gay is a choice are actually bisexual, so it's a choice for them. I probably wouldn't rely on like psychoanalysis. I think it gets really inconvenient in a lot of people's views if it's not a choice. I think if it's not a choice, then that has like a number of implications. It means that, well, actually, if you restricted people from being gay, it's not like they would go and form like straight relationships, which means that probably they're just going to be single their entire lives, which for most people is like a worse outcome than being in a relationship, although something like that is like person dependent. But I think that's probably why that comes in. Manny Black, thanks so much for the super chat. This episode of Christians Are Dumber, great stream. Yeah, this one selects for honestly probably the worst. I pretty perpetually find that when it comes to like the why is being gay wrong stream, it's not a strict rule. Typically, we're scraping the bottom of the barrel. Helping MAGA deconstruct, thanks so much for the super chat. Imagine being the caller, unable to get a girl, yet complaining about less competition. America needs anti-dumb laws, not anti-LGBTQ plus laws. Rock hard for Doug and sinfully wet for Sharon. Or sinfully wet for Doug? It ends with a D again. But thank you so much, helping MAGA deconstruct. Juno, thanks so much for the super chat. Guest is what happens when Dunning F's Kruger and raises a child. True. Tales of the Levant, thanks so much for the super chat. Would non-arbitrary evaluations like preferences be self-defeating? Non-arbitrary evaluations like preferences? I don't know what this question is asking. I don't know what it means for it to be like self-defeating. I think preferences probably are value-based. Maybe there are some circumstances where they're not, but that seems to be like a great example of something that would be value-based. Tyler I don't even know how to pronounce the rest of that. Thanks so much for the super chat. My Christian brother-in-law, Running Randall, turns 18 tomorrow. We'll wish him a happy birthday. We can't have him forgetting that he's been challenged to a debate. Randall, it's your goddamn birthday tomorrow, or potentially today, based on when Tyler shows this to you. Randall, stop running from me. You've been running from me for 18 years, and it's time for you to show up to the debate. Randall, stop running. It's time to debate, Randall. You can't run from me. And Stevens, thanks so much for the super chat. Thanks so much for the 10 gifted memberships for Cool Corey. I appreciate that. Synthwave, thanks so much for the super chat. The $50 super chat. Be gay. That's true. You should be gay, you know, if you're gay. And then I guess like probably don't do that if you're not gay. But let's get a big W for Synthwave Ash. I really appreciate that. I don't know. These kind of like big donos are really helpful. I really appreciate that. It allows me to get all of the resources that I want. Like just yesterday, the book that I was talking about, I got it on like PDF. So, but because I couldn't find like even a description of like the PDF anywhere, I didn't even bother to ask like community to get me one. But I ended up like straight purchasing it. But I can only do that with the funds that I've been provided through all my great super chats. I really appreciate that. Big W Synthwave. Tales of Levant, thanks so much for the super chat. Sorry, I mean arbitrary evaluations. Okay, I'll read the super chat again. Would arbitrary evaluations like preferences be self-defeating? I don't think so. I think that if you want, you can lay out like an argument for why you think they would be self-defeating, but I'm not sure why. Like, okay, if you had like the preference for no preferences, that's probably self-defeating, but I'm not sure where the self-defeat would come in there. All right, if you're in that guest request box, make sure that you...
Ian, can I make a couple of quick announcements?
Yeah, what's up?
I just want to say that on Twitch right now, we have a little Subwave hype train going. Gravity56, thanks for resubscribing for the 5th month. Ed, thanks for 9 months. And yesterday, Finn hit an 85 stream watch streak.
Whoa.
And Ali is, I think, at 100 or just over 100 and has hit 12 months of subscribing. So of being a channel member. So that is awesome. We love our Twitchies. Just a reminder that it does exist. It's a great way to watch the stream if you don't already. And if you're on TikTok, please make sure you are quadruple jumbo tapping the screen because we are at 30,000 likes there. We want to hit that 100K. Tap, 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 tap. And send your heart me's, get your emotes that way. It's only 1 coin, 1 penny, 1 coin to send a heart me, and then you get access to a bunch of cool emotes on TikTok. So do that, and then use the little heart button at the very top of the screen after you do that to collect your channel points. All of that helps boost the stream out to a bigger audience, gets us more interesting guests. So send those goodies, tap that screen, share the live, and we're going to have a great time today. Thanks, everyone.
Hey, thanks so much, Molly. I appreciate that. That's great. Gosh, I wish maybe I'll have you do announcements more frequently. That was great. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Okay, if you're in that guest request box, make sure that you disagree with the topic, that you think that there is something wrong about being gay, and that you're 18 or older. And with that, we'll go to the next guest. Hey, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing well, yeah. How old are you?
I'm 28.
And do you think that being gay is wrong?
I won't say it's wrong. I'd say it's abnormal.
Okay. Well, the topic is whether or not it's wrong. I mean, if what you're saying is
it's wrong because
you might be saying that it's abnormal in like a statistical sense. Like you might be saying like statistically not much of the population is gay. And if that's what you mean when you say being gay is abnormal, I don't disagree that it's like statistically abnormal. I think the question that's interesting to me is whether or not
abnormal in terms of nature.
Oh, well, lots
in
of
terms of
animal
natural
species,
existence.
lots of other animals have gay sex. In fact, there's like a type of lizard that's nothing but females, you know, they have nothing but lesbian sex.
But that doesn't make them normal.
I thought you said normal just meant like occurs in nature.
Yes, the same way you can actually have crippled animals in nature, that doesn't make them the perfect fit for survival, meaning that
So,
they are abnormalities of nature.
well, so let's get clear here. So, are you saying that what's good is just what's gonna help you with survival? Because, like, for
No,
example, it's probably really good for our survival that we do things like factory farming, that probably assists us in our survival. Although I don't think that factory farming is particularly, uh, natural or normal. Same thing with, like, modern medicine. You'd probably wanna say, like, modern medicine doesn't appear in nature, but it certainly helps our survival.
yes, but it still lies between the naturality of.
It feels like the goalpost is shifting all over the damn place.
No, no, it's
So,
not
what
shit.
what is your claim? Let's get very specific about it.
My claim is that it is an abnormality of nature. It's not something that exists in nature. And if nature had taken that abnormality as a normality, then we wouldn't have existed as human beings.
Sure, so you're just saying, like, if everyone was gay, then, I mean, nobody would exist?
It's simple survival for the fittest.
Okay. Are you aware that, having gay people probably actually, helps you pass on your genes? There's good evidence to indicate that, specifically, it's more likely that somebody will birth a gay child if they've already birthed, like, a good number of children. The reason for that is that these people contribute to society, they provide resources to society, but then they don't add additional children to that society, who will themselves, like, suck up resources. So they're a contributor in terms of, like, overall resources, as opposed to being, like, a drain on resources.
But that is someone being bi. They give birth to other kids and as well
No,
have
I'm
sex with
talking
other
about gay
people.
people.
If it's gay, then they cannot reproduce. So
Yeah,
that
no, I
means
agree they can't reproduce, yeah, or that they're not going to, but yeah.
exactly. So if
Yeah,
it's two
that's
people
my
actually
exact
doing the
point
same
is that
thing,
it does help the rest of, like, the community survive because they take fewer resources, by having children, you know?
but the thing
It's
is
just
that
one less person, or I
having the
guess, like,
thing to
however
be
many less
told to many
people
people,
as they would have had children.
it wouldn't have mattered if we had like less people doing it or basing it on their own like private stuff. But going out and making it something that is supposed to be accepted by everyone is what I actually have a problem with.
Yeah, what's wrong with being gay? We still haven't gotten an answer to that.
Again, it's an abnormality of nature.
And
That's
by
the first one. The
abnormal, do you
second,
mean, like,
okay,
let's cash out abnormal. What does abnormal mean?
something that does not exist within the normality of nature. That is,
That's
a man is
circular. You're
supposed to
just
have.
saying, like, abnormal
No, no,
is
no.
something that's not normal within
A
nature.
man.
Okay, when you say
The
normal, what does
design
that
of
mean?
the design of the human reproduction. It's supposed to be for the
What
purpose
does
of
normal
procreation.
mean here?
Normal in this case means it goes in line with procreation or
Okay, sure.
evolution.
So you're just saying that it's in line. Okay. So, for example, would you say that it's, I don't know, wrong to have sex with your wife if she's infertile?
Um, it won't be wrong, but
Why
evolutionary,
not?
it
That's
is
not in
not
line with
normal.
procreation.
It's abnormal. That's the thing.
Sure, and you said that it's do you think that it would be wrong to promote the acceptance of, like, you being married to your wife if your wife is infertile? If you were
If
living
she's
in a
infertile
society that
and I
was, like,
need kids,
anti-marrying fertile women,
if you have a wife,
you think that that would
she's
be, like,
infertile, and you
wrong to
want
to try
kids,
to
of course you'll have
raise,
to
like,
find another
awareness and
partner for
acceptance for you
reproduction.
and your wife?
You'll have to find another person for reproduction. That's the thing.
Well, I
The
agree
second
with
person,
that, they would agree with that too. Gay people would agree with that, everyone agrees with that. It's just like a non-point.
it's a point because you said if that person cannot give birth and you want to have procreation for your own generation, then you must find someone who can procreate. That's the thing.
No, I
Again,
totally agree with that. But you do think that it's abnormal to have sex with your wife if she's infertile?
for the purpose of procreation, yes.
You think gay people are having sex for the purpose of procreation?
But that's what it's supposed to be.
Do you think when a gay person has sex with another gay person, you think they're trying to procreate?
They don't, and that's the problem.
Yeah,
what's
they're
the
not
issue?
trying to procreate there.
The thing is,
What's the issue with purely
the
pleasurable
fundamental
sex?
aspect
Do you,
of
do you think sex is purely for like?
I'm speaking on the basis of nature.
Do you think that sex is purely for reproduction? You should never have sex for like pleasure.
Yes, human beings can actually use it for pleasure,
They
but
can use
the
it for pleasure.
yes, they can use it for pleasure, but the fundamental aspect of it, it's supposed to be procreation.
Says who?
Evolution
Where does evolution speak?
says your
Evolution just
existence.
is.
Says your existence.
My
Because
existence is just here. It doesn't speak. Like I can
No,
say things, but my existence as a whole
you
is just
exist
I just
here
exist.
because procreation took place.
Where are you reading
Reproduction
in evolution
process took place.
theory? In the theory of evolution, where are you reading that our purpose is to reproduce?
The main aspect of evolution is survival for the fittest.
Wait, but purpose specifically is normative. It's like rationally reason giving. You know, I don't think that evolution produces purposes. I think it produces functions. Things have certain functions, but just because they function in one way, or that had they not functioned in this way, they wouldn't have evolved, that means that I have like some reason to strictly use it in that way. For example, you know, I didn't evolve to play the piano. You know, I had these hands, and had they not been good at crafting tools and using tools, they would have evolved differently. In fact, they probably wouldn't have evolved in this way. But, you know, I have them, and I can play the piano with them. I can't personally, but some people can, you know, play the piano with them. Is that wrong to play the piano? I mean, you didn't evolve to do that.
But that's not part of the evolution. That's something that you
Exactly.
do it in
Is it
regards to the
wrong?
environment. That's something that in regard to the environment, it's not on your biological system. If you speak on a biological system, the
I'm
human
using
body,
my
let's say
biological
the mouth.
system.
No, your mouth, I'll give you a very simple example. Your mouth has evolved to crush and break down food so that it goes into your esophagus and directly into your stomach.
Do you think it's
You
wrong
can't
to
use
chew
your
gum?
nose to eat. No, it's not wrong.
Wait, sorry,
That's
but
the
what
fact
function
of
of
it.
my mouth does chewing gum do that comes from evolution?
Crushing. That's why you have the jaws and the
But you're
teeth.
specifically saying it's to swallow the food.
It's to crush the food so that it is swallowable.
Would it be wrong if I started like chewing on rocks?
Yes, of course, because it
Why'd
is
that be
going
wrong?
to have a problem in your stomach.
Okay, but what if I didn't actually swallow it? What if I like spat it out? Would that be wrong?
Then you wouldn't have committed the function of that particular organ.
Sure, why not?
Because if you use it, then the actual result that will come from it will be harm. It will not be a
Why?
beneficial thing that was designed for that particular organ.
So it needs to benefit in order for the purpose to be used accurately?
Yeah, the design and the purpose for that particular thing.
But
to
it
keep
does
you
need to
alive. Let's
benefit
say-
you in some way, is
Okay.
that correct?
Okay. Your same analogy. You eat rocks and you don't eat anything else, right?
Yeah, you just
And you
like
just
chew on
chew
some
rocks.
rocks, yeah.
Okay. Will you survive?
Yeah?
Will you survive for more
You're
than
not
2
gonna
months?
die if you like put a rock in your mouth and start like gnawing on it.
Without eating
You can eat other
or using
things.
the mouth for the
You can
purpose that
take
it's
the
supposed
rock
to be used
out
for.
and then eat something else and then go back to the rock.
But you're still using your mouth for that purpose. That's the thing.
Yeah,
right?
but what would be wrong about the rock, like chewing on the rock?
The rock will actually is going to injure or bring a lot of harm to your
Not if
to
you
your
don't
teeth
chew on
and
it too
everything.
hard.
The function is supposed to be okay. Let's say this. Since you're actually speaking about the mouth, let's use your nose to eat.
Okay.
Can you use your nose to eat?
Technically, if you want to. I think it's like pretty gross. But do you want to answer my
Can you
question or do
eat
you want to
using
pivot
your
away?
nose?
It kind of sounds like
No,
you
no,
have
can you eat using
literally
your
nothing
nose?
to say about it.
No. I'm saying it
Okay,
because
like
you're
what's
giving
wrong
me
with
the-
chewing on the rock but not too hard?
Actually-
Did you do something wrong there?
you have not
Or like if I
used
like
the
chew on my
mouth for what is
pen.
supposed to be
Let's
used.
say I do this frequently. I like frequently put my pen in my mouth and like chew on it. Do I do something wrong?
No, it's not something wrong, but
Oh, why not?
that's not
Wait,
the
so which
specific
purpose of my
function of it.
mouth am I performing here?
Yes, you can actually have it in your mouth, but in your brain and in your system, you know very well that you are not chewing this pen so that it goes into your digestive
So
system.
I am doing something wrong there then.
I'm not saying you did something wrong. The thing is, you know that you are using this pen not for the purpose of digestion.
Correct.
Okay? You are just having it there because you wanted
Correct.
to have it there.
And gay people are
Okay?
not having sex for the purpose of procreation. It fills other purposes. In the same way
So-
that I'm like chewing on my pen, but it's not for the purpose of like swallowing my pen.
But even in the design of those products those organs that you're actually using them for other purposes that they're not supposed to be. Let's say, just for example, I'll speak on the gay part for the men.
Wait, do you think that chewing on my pen is using my mouth for the purposes that it's supposed to be used for?
It's there because you are not using it for the same purpose that it's supposed to be used. Of course, you are eating. That's why you survived.
Then you're contradicting yourself. You're saying that
No,
there's
I'm not.
nothing wrong with me chewing on my pen, even though my mouth does not have the purpose of chewing on pens. But there is something wrong about using like your dick to have gay sex because that's not the purpose of the dick. You both want to say
No,
that
that's not the
using the
purpose of
organ
it.
wrong makes it a wrong thing that you've done. But also, it's not necessarily the case that if you misuse the organ that you've done something wrong.
Your organs, each organ in your body has evolved to do a certain
What has my mouth
function.
evolved to do?
It has evolved to be used for speech, for gnawing and crushing food in your mouth. That's the thing. If you look at your nose, it's supposed to be there to catch any dust.
Well, wait, then let's just
for
formalize
breathing
it.
purposes.
Okay, so the mouth is used for speech and crushing food in my mouth. So then me chewing on the pen does not fulfill any of those functions.
Yes.
Okay. And if something doesn't fulfill the function of the organ, if you use the organ in a way that doesn't fulfill its purpose, do you think that's wrong?
Yes, that's wrong because
So it is
will lead
wrong
to
for
a
me to
harm.
chew on my pen?
Yes, it is wrong.
Okay, so you've changed your mind about that from like 5 minutes ago.
No. If you use
You
it
didn't claim that it
fundamentally for
wasn't
the
wrong
purpose-
5 minutes ago? You
for
didn't
the
say
purpose-
that?
No. If you use it
Did
fundamentally
you
for
are
the
you
purpose of
claiming
just
that that's
chewing,
not what you said? Because you just said that. Like there's no need to act like you didn't say those things. It's all recorded.
Again, I'm saying this again. If you use it fundamentally for the purpose of digestion, like you are using this pen because you want to eat it, then it won't work.
Do you think that chewing gum is wrong because chewing gum is not in line with, speech or crushing food in your mouth? Gum isn't food.
But gum is a form of food.
Gum is not food. You don't swallow gum.
Gum has glucose inside of it,
It has what?
sugars and stuff.
Sorry.
So
it
you
has-
crush the gum
Wait, what does it
and
have?
squeeze out the sugar. The same way someone can actually
What about
eat a
sugar-free
sugar cane.
gum? Is it wrong to chew sugar-free gum?
You can also eat a sugar cane.
I'm asking you, is it wrong to chew sugar-free gum?
It's not wrong, but that's like a form of food, okay?
Does
And you're
that
not
use
ingesting
your
any of
mouth's
it.
purpose for what it was designed for?
Yes, of course.
Chewing gum?
For crushing, yes.
Is
You said specifically crushing foods. And
Yes.
I mean,
and
by
the
that
gum is
logic,
actually a
that
form of
means
food.
I would actually, putting the pen in my mouth
You can
actually
chew
would be
food.
a fine thing to do
can chew
because
gum.
I am
You can chew
crushing
gum.
a thing. Yeah, I'm chewing on
can't
my
swallow
pen,
a
so then
gum.
I'd be using my mouth for its intended purpose.
You can swallow a gum. You can swallow a gum.
no, you're not supposed to swallow gum.
Yeah, it's
and
bad
if you
for
go
you.
by
You can swallow a
it-
gum.
It's
no,
bad for
you shouldn't swallow gum. If you're going to go by that gum is a food because it has glucose, then I could say vape juice is a food and I smoke it because it has glucose in it. This is really like this isn't good. It's not a good argument. It's not
It's a
food.
perfect argument because
There's
each
a
and
there's
every
also
part
a
of our
doctor
body
above
has
me
a
that
body.
could tell you that gum is not to be swallowed and it's also not a food.
So you have special features in your organs that you can use your nose to digest and eat food, right?
Do you say use your nose?
Because that's the thing you're telling me. Then it's actually right. If you're telling me that I can actually use,
You can
other
use
parts
your
or
nose
organs
to
of my
insert an
body.
NG tube that can go down into your stomach, but so maybe I don't really know. You'd have to use a feeding tube in order to insert that down so it can go into your
No, no, no.
stomach.
Can you use your nose the way it is right now, the way it has evolved to be naturally as it is, to crush the foods and eat in your body?
When you say crushed food, the only way that you'd be able to get it down through, like, because it's going to go down through your throat and then it can go down into your stomach or your lungs. You have to be careful. But you would need to use a tube.
Exactly. Okay, let's say this again. Use a liquid instead of using
Yeah,
your
that's
mouth.
typically what we do with NG tubes. We typically use
You
liquids
use
to
it.
stick it down there. Yes, down.
Don't use a tube. Just go directly to the nose. To the nose.
More than likely, it's just going to hurt. That's why we use a tube that'll go straight down
Exactly.
into the stomach.
It's going to hurt. The reason for this is because it's going to harm you. That's why you have a mouth that is used.
Would
for
you
the
say it's
purposes of
immoral
that.
for somebody to use an NG tube that goes down their nose and you like that? Takes a tube, sticks it down their throat through the nostril. Would you say that's immoral?
It will be harmful to their body if
It would
they
be
have a
harmful for them
functioning
to
mouth.
use. Wait, it would be harmful for somebody to use an NG tube, a feeding tube that is to stick through their nose and go down into their stomach. That's would be harmful.
That's therapeutic.
Yes,
Then. No, it's
for the purpose of medicine and stuff, you can speak about it if someone is actually sick or stuff. But if you just use it for the purpose of eating and digesting food, then it goes beyond the purpose and the
Whoa.
function.
Wait,
that
It's
so
actually
frequently
it
true
operates.
that.
sounds like the rightness or the wrongness of it depends on the agent who's performing the actions. So it has nothing to do
No,
with the natural function of the organ itself, but rather it's a question of whether or not the agent wants that or not.
no, you know what? Everybody decides in the world they are not going to use their mouth. We are going to use our nose. How many people do you think will actually survive?
I don't know.
Well, here I can give you a great example. I would say about 90% of my nutrition just goes straight into my stomach. I don't eat anything. So
Zero
are you
will
saying?
survive.
Oh.
Are you?
What about all the
No.
people that survive on feeding tubes all the time?
Yeah,
No,
literally,
no, no.
there are
I'm
cancer
speaking about
patients that
just
can't get
using
food
your
down.
nose
They're
as it is
using
right
NG
now.
tubes. Hang on, listen. You're saying NG tubes they'd be harmful, and then but you did say for some medical reasons you would allow that. But that doesn't really make any sense. If you're allowing exterior motives as a reason to allow these things to exist, then like Ian was saying, it would depend on the person.
No, he's saying like, out in the
That's on a
wild, quote
medical
unquote, if
reason. The
people are
same
just
way.
using their noses to try to eat rather than their mouths, how many would survive? Well, obviously
Well,
they wouldn't.
yes.
But
Yeah.
like, a different question for you. We talked about gum, right? Gum is non-nutritive. Like you're not going to be able to survive off of gum. But let's say something like kissing. If you're using your mouth to kiss people, right? It doesn't really
Yeah.
achieve any purpose such as one that you described. As you're not grinding up food to eat. You're not breathing with your mouth. You're using it to place it on somebody else's mouth, right? Is that wrong? It wasn't designed for that, quote unquote designed.
No, it's not wrong, but it's still part of a system that human beings have evolved to do.
No,
We've evolved the
our mouths did
kiss?
not evolve, to, be ideal for kissing. It's just something we chose to do with them.
I'm so confused by this evolving thing. Do you think we didn't evolve to have well, for one, if we already see sexual orientations natural within nature and brain development, and then we can see that passes over into Homo sapiens and it naturally occurs within the brain. Like, I'm so confused at how you're getting that we didn't evolutionarily evolve and how you don't see that there's an evolutionary advantage of a group of people not being able to procreate. If everybody was procreating at the rate that we already are, we would go extinct, we'd go extinct from over population rather than underpopulation.
That's why nature has a way of balancing that out, and we have death.
Right, and I would say homosexuality might give you that evolutionary advantage, but you're kind of ignoring that.
No, it doesn't.
How
That's
does it
that's a
not do
perfect way
that?
to balance things, actually.
Because
How does it not do
most of
that?
those people are actually born. When you're born, you're not born like having homosexual features, right? If you're born a man, you're born a man. If you're born a woman, you're born a woman. Let's say
What?
in the aspect
like
of
gay men
transgender
are men,
people, we can
right?
speak
Like I don't
about
know if
that.
you're aware of that fact.
Yes, you're a man. You
Yeah,
are.
they agree. Like if you ask a gay man if he's a man, he'll say, "Yeah."
What are gay features?
And how have those parts or organs in your body have have they been evolved to perform what function?
That presupposes like a telos, like an end to it, which I think is like a gibberish concept.
No.
Yes.
Simple again. I'm just using science to prove to
Yes.
you
Wait,
each
sorry.
function in your body is
Well,
designed
first of all,
to
this is
perform
not
a certain
science. Science
function.
doesn't make prescriptive claims. This is strictly the field of philosophy, saying that you ought do this or that you ought not do this. That's a philosophical
Yes,
argument. You can't hide
it's
behind
not a
science with
philosophical
this.
argument. You can't
So
use
wait,
your
let's go
mouth
back to
to
the
swallow
kissing example, because I think the
iron.
kissing example is quite good actually. So it's not wrong to kiss somebody. What purpose did your mouth evolve to that led to kissing? What sort of like
That was a choice,
role does kissing serve? And gay sex is a choice then.
but it goes against the function of that particular body,
It
because
goes
that
against the
particular,
function of the mouth to kiss. There's nothing
again,
included in the function of the mouth that you said earlier that
again,
would allow for
I'll go back.
kissing. Your criteria was speech and crushing up food. Kissing is not a part of either of those. So you would have to say that kissing is wrong.
Again, I'll go back to the anus. It has
Do you want to
evolved
engage with the kissing
part of an
argument, or I think
excretion.
you know you're cooked on that one?
No. It's
Just
not about being
engage with
cooked.
the argument. Why is kissing okay?
Kissing is okay because it doesn't cause any harm to any part of that particular organ.
Okay.
And how does lesbian sex do that?
Yeah.
Do what?
How does lesbian sex or gay sex harm anybody?
The thing is, if everybody today decides to do that particular action and they stop reproducing, then humanity as a whole will actually cease to exist.
But why would I think that's immoral if everybody chose not to reproduce? Like, would you say it's immoral tomorrow if every woman stopped consenting to having sex and we died off naturally? Would you say that's immoral?
Yes, because that will be
It's immoral for women to choose not to consent?
suicide to the human race.
So the alternative would be that every woman gets raped, would be just like, they would just get raped. That's your alternative?
Not getting raped. That's not
No,
what
they
I'm
would
saying.
be getting raped because they don't consent to sex anymore, meaning that you're saying it's immoral for them to do that, which means the moral claim would be that they would, they would have to at least subdue to having sex in some form or fashion. I don't understand how it would be immoral for women to not consent to having sex.
If it comes to the point that the human race is at a point of like total destruction, then that will be morally justified. For the
So
survival
rape would be
of the
morally
human race.
justified?
Oh boy.
No. Again,
Don't say no to me.
Wait,
That's
what
you
is
just
the
said.
thing that would be morally justified? You said it would be morally justified. What would be morally justified?
reproducing with the females that exist at that particular point.
That said they didn't want to? That said they didn't want to?
Let's say we have the last.
No, answer my
people on the
question.
planet.
No, answer my question. Because my hypothetical was that tomorrow they choose not to consent anymore. Would it be morally justified to then grape them because they don't consent, and under your worldview, that you think that the moral ought to do would be to procreate regardless?
If it's one man and one woman as the last people on the planet, then that will be morally justified for the continuation of the human race.
To grape her?
It's not be.
It's a yes or no question. I don't know why you're trying to.
It will not be grape.
It would be grape because she doesn't consent.
Do animals give consent?
We're not talking about animals, we're talking about Homo sapiens. I'll just say, I'll give you a simple
To be clear, animals rape each other all the time.
That's true, yes.
There's an arms race between duck penises and duck vaginas precisely because male ducks, grape female ducks often to death.
When it comes to nature and the survival of a human race, then at that particular point,
grape becomes justified.
Natural.
So then grape
it's not about morality at that particular point.
Well, I'm asking you about morality. Is it moral?
We're asking if it's justified.
Let's say you were the last person and there was like the last woman in front of you. Would you rape her?
If it means the survival of the human race? Because if you don't do that,
just say yes.
Just say yes, you would rape her. No. If you don't do that particular function, then it means that you have doomed.
Would you rape her?
The human race.
Well, it's a simple yes or no question.
at that particular point, it will not be a
Would
moral
It's a yes or no
do
question.
it will be a choice.
Would
Either the
you
survival of the human
do it?
race or
Would you do it?
I will ensure the survival of the human race. That's what I'll say.
It's so
Which is a
horrific that
yes.
you
Morally
can't
right.
even say yes. You won't even say yes because you know how bad it sounds.
Not only that, but if your worldview like
I've said it
reduces
again.
to if your worldview reduces down to like raping people, I think it's a pretty nasty worldview, and you should
Yeah.
probably think about that.
Yeah, I kicked him. That's fucking crazy. Well, make sure you're double tapping
All
on
these-
that screen.
All these moral obligation for reproduction arguments lead to these.
Yep. Man, the kissing
There's a much
example.
easier answer to that question.
Mm.
Like, no, I care more about not graping people than I do about the survival of the human race.
Yeah.
Or how do we start? Let's start off the human race by grape and incest, and I think that will set the whole like world up for a great set of circumstances. That's what he just said.
Yeah. I mean, I think that there's like definitely value in like the continued existence of humanity. I just don't know if I'd say that that value like could ever justify like the stripping of people's rights, like a basic right, like the right to consent to things. But anyway, let's read some supers. Oop. Adam Urs, thanks so much for the super chat. Same-sex couples should eventually be able to reproduce via induced pluripotent stem cells and in vitro gametogenesis.
Gametogenesis.
Gametogenesis. Fuck, this is too much. It's too many. Too many fucking vowels, frankly. It's currently possible with mice models. Very cool science. That sounds like very cool science. Let's get a big W for Adam Hurst. I appreciate it. Tales of the Levant, thanks so much for the super chat. Agents presuppose evaluation has value. Valued evaluation presupposes non-arbitrary standards of evaluation. Wouldn't preferences be self-defeating on this moral framework? I don't think it necessarily presupposes non-arbitrary standards, but I think that the rejection of specific value standards does lead to self-defeat. I think that you could have the self-defeating value standards, like if you evaluate that you're gonna fucking lie to people to take their money, you're gonna say, I'll pay you back, and you have no intention of paying that person back because what you value there is their money. I think that's self-defeating because if everybody was doing the thing that you're doing, lying to somebody, making a false promise in order to get money, then promises just wouldn't exist. That just wouldn't be a thing that you could do. So in virtue of doing that action to achieve that goal, you're undermining the very system that allows for you to take that action to achieve that goal. So in that sense, it's like self-undermining. But then I don't think that like an arbitrary preference, like, I don't know, enjoying vanilla ice cream more than you enjoy chocolate ice cream is like self-defeating. Virtuous Path, thanks so much for the super chat. Non-heterosexuals can reproduce if they wanted to. Would it be permissible for them to engage in non-heterosexual activity if they reproduced first? That's a good question. Yeah, what if they did the thing? What if it's like post like what if it's at like a point where they're like infertile? What then? Heterodox agnostic, thanks so much for the 20 NOK. Ends never justify the means. I don't know if I'd say never justify the means, but I'm certainly opposed to like most forms of like consequentialism. I think consequentialism has like a lot of like crazy, insane bullet bites that are completely indefensible, completely insane, fuck crazy, fuck bullet bites. So, hey, if you're in that guest request box, if you want to debate this topic, if you think that there is something wrong with being gay, feel free to request to join. You got to be 18 or older and disagree with the topic. With that, we'll go to the very next guest. Unless we don't. Hey, how's it going?
Oh, can you hear me?
You're a bit muffled.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Is that better?
Much better. Yeah. How old are you?
I am 20.
Okay. And do you think that there's something wrong with being gay? Also, it kind of feels like it feels like you're like blasting like compressed air into the microphone or something.
I'm in a warehouse. I'm on my break right now. I'm trying to get to a quieter place for you. Uh, does this work here?
That's fine. I'll call that acceptable. Sure.
What
Yeah,
was that?
that's fine. I'll allow it.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'll try to turn it down some more. But yeah, I believe being gay is wrong. Yeah,
Okay. What's wrong about it?
it bears no fruit.
Like
In the
what?
book of Genesis, the first chapter, God calls us to be fruitful and to multiply.
Okay.
Being,
Do you
go
think
ahead.
it's wrong to have sex with like an infertile person,
No, I don't think so. No,
but it bears
especially
no
if you're married.
fruits?
Well, yeah. Well, then, unfortunately, you know,
Cooked.
move on.
Okay.
What's the
Wait.
distinction
But is
between a
it
homosexual couple and a sterile couple or an infertile couple that's having sex?
Say that one more time.
What's the distinction between a homosexual couple there and an infertile couple that's having sex?
The difference is because it is not with the same sex.
so what?
Your
Yeah,
issue
that's the
was
difference.
reproduction, but your issue was reproduction, so
Yeah.
now
Why
it
is that
seems like your
relevant?
issue is, yeah.
Well, it goes along with it, though. I mean, they both be the homosexual one would be wrong because it's two males. That's
Yeah.
why it would be wrong
And why is two males having sex wrong?
because it bears no fruit.
Sure, but two infertile people having sex also bears no fruit.
Again, the distinction here we're asking for is why you allow the infertile couple to have sex. That's not immoral. But the
Because
homosexual couple
it's
that has the same type of sex in regards to there's no reproduction at the end of it is not immoral. What's the distinction there as to why one's immoral, one's not?
I think I just explained it to you. One is because it's
No,
one
you're
is
kind
with
of
a
special pleading. You're saying it's because one comes from two same genders and one doesn't.
right.
But that doesn't really answer the question because then we lead back to the same problem where you special plead for the for the infertile couple.
Well, yeah, I said for the infertile couple, then yeah. I mean, if you want to do, by God's will, to be fruitful and to multiply, then you need to find a partner who would be able to multiply with you.
But
But you
are you
can't do that
doing
with the same
wrong?
sex.
Are you doing wrong if you have sex with your partner who is infertile?
If it's with the opposite sex, it's not wrong
Why? Why isn't that wrong?
because. I, so do you want? Okay, so I feel like we're gonna go in a circle
He
here.
has no answer. Okay.
Wait, can I just ask you another question, right? So if you think do you think that being gay is a choice?
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's kind of the key problem
Well,
here is
okay,
you
well,
think that
okay, hold on.
hang
Because
on.
I might change my stance on that. I've been in here listening,
Mhm.
Okay.
and I also, I listen. I'm a listener. So
Sure.
I do believe people can be born gay, but
Nobody's
with
born with a
that,
sexual orientation, you're born a baby.
what do you mean? Well, so because y'all be saying like, oh, like how like twins could be gay at birth, or blase blase. So it's kind of like the same rules apply, no?
We're
Well,
talking about
specifically, the claim is that
predispositions.
they're going to grow up to be gay. That specifically, like, I don't know, like, probably newborns have no sexual feelings. That's obvious. Um,
Okay.
and then there's like a sexual development process that they go through as they reach puberty, times like that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
So the claim is not that they're like born gay, but rather that if you took like two identical twins or two non-identical twins, that they're going to correspond in being gay to each other at like a hugely high rate, way higher than the general population, which
This is
indicates
not
that
a
there's like some
okay.
underlying level of either epigenetic factors or genetic factors.
So if you say like like a gay genetic, like are you saying like something like that?
Um, you're gonna need to rephrase your question. I'm not sure what you're
Are you
asking.
so
Yes.
are you
Yeah, he's asking if there's
yes?
genetics that link back to being
So
gay.
like
Yeah, I
being
think
born gay,
there
right?
certainly appears to be. If
Okay,
not
well then I
genetics,
could.
then definitely epigenetics. In fact, there's
What is
definitely
epigenetic then? What does that mean?
yeah, epigenetics refers to the way that genes are going to express themselves within a specific environment. So the specific environment that would be in question here is the womb. That the womb is
Okay, I
going to
heard you talk
release
about
like
that.
specific specific hormones that's going to activate specific genes within you or not activate specific genes within you. The gene can either be expressed or not expressed. And based on the hormones that you're exposed to in the womb, it's going to cause different genes to be expressed, basically.
Okay, okay, I get that. But my response to that would be is that, you know, in the Bible, it tells us that we are born into sin. So yeah, being born gay, I believe that can happen, yeah. Because we're all born into sin.
Well, I don't think that being gay is a sin, though.
Well, have you heard of Sodom and Gomorrah?
Sodom and Gomorrah was about inhospitality. They were trying to grape angels.
Yeah, I think I would say that the crime of Sodom and Gomorrah is that they were like raping people.
And that's also what scholars would say. It's the scholarly interpretation there is that because it was inhospitable. We can see this with Levites as well. Is they went into the Levites and tried to grape, the people that were coming in. It was inhospitable. That's what was immoral.
Did that include? People. Okay, well, I'm not going to say that include. I was going to say something that was ignorance, but I want to include that.
That's okay. I even respect that.
Yeah, I didn't want to sound dumb there, but well, so in the translations in the Bible where it says the people of Sodom wanted to know the angel, that word "know" is used very commonly. When a birth is about to take place. So, like it says, what's his name? Oh, the dude who had the wife Sarah. I forgot his name. The dude who had the wife Sarah. It says in the Bible that they were to know each other, and a child was born soon after. So, I follow a gay Christian. Well, he was a formerly gay Christian. He was a formerly gay man, converted Christian. And this is one of his very strong vocal points about, why gay is a sin. They said when they used that word "to know," they began to know each other, and a child was born out there. They're having sex. They know each other, and a child is born. So when those people of Sodom, approached, what's his name? Anywho, when they approached his house and wanted to know the angel, that could be chopped up to, they wanted to get in there and grape them angels.
Yeah, exactly, right. That's the problem, right?
These are grown men.
It's not being, whoa, wait. The bad thing there is not that they're gay, it's that they're rapists.
The men of Sodom surrounded the house and demanded the visitors to be brought out so that they could have unconsensual sex with them.
That's right.
They were literally threatening them with gang rape, and they were angels. So that's what was wrong. And again, we can see a parallel story in Judges 19, which literally tells like a Levite and his runaway concubine that the same thing happens, that they're they threaten him with gang rape. So again, it's it's specifically just about not allowing gang rape for people that are.
How do you know it's specifically that?
I can give you several scholars. If you message me, I can send you stuff from
I'll send you a message here after. But I want that to be a fact when you say that, because it's just
That's
because of the rape. I think.
Wait, is the thing in question whether or not it's referring to rape?
I think you're right. No, I said they were going to go to have sex with the angels. Yeah, I said that.
No, not just have sex. It's rape.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Right, exactly. That's what I said. So yeah, I feel like also it's because they were men, That's why God sent it in the fire.
It doesn't really say that, though. That's kind of the issue, is we're kind of putting words into the story at that point because it was wrong. And also we have to, if we're looking at Sodom and Gomorrah, the story of Lot, he gives his daughter up. He gives his daughter specifically. And if these were homosexual men, not just rapists, then they wouldn't be after a woman, right?
Well, in a town full of rapists, nobody's off limits,
That's my point, though, and you're trying to say that it was about homosexuals, but in reality, it was just about rapists.
I can say it's both. I think I say it's both.
Yeah, we should have no reason to think that.
Yeah, I don't have any reason to think
I mean, regardless, this is a story from Genesis. I mean, the Old Testament is full of atrocities. It literally says that you can own people as property.
World, yeah.
Why would I take the biblical ethics seriously when God is literally giving laws to the Israelites, saying that it's totally fine for the Israelites to own slaves.
You said why wouldn't you like
Why would I take
say more?
biblical
Okay,
ethics
yeah.
seriously at the point in time when it literally says that you can own slaves?
Well, because like it says, the Old Testament world was an evil place.
God
And
gave
so
the law. Did
everybody,
God give an evil law?
you got to shoot me that verse. What
Yeah,
chapter say
Leviticus
that it
25,
say?
44 through 46.
Because that's true. That's actually a little crazy. I'm not gonna lie. I've never heard that
Yep.
before.
Yep, I'll read it. As for the male and female slaves whom you may have, it is from the nations around you that you may acquire male and female slaves. You may also acquire them from among the aliens residing with you and from their families who are with you, who have been born in your land. They may be your property. You may keep them as a possession for your children after you, for them to inherit as property. These you may treat as slaves, but as for your fellow Israelites, no one shall rule over the other with harshness.
Can you read Leviticus 19:10? I think.
Well, no,
Sure.
can you
This-
continue
there
on?
was
So,
spe-
like, what did those people do for them to be owned by the Israelites?
Nothing.
they
They're
do?
they're literally just born into foreign places. Like if you looked at Exodus 21, it tells you specifically that you can sell your daughter into slavery straight up, no qualifications. This is Exodus
said that?
21:7. When a man sells his daughter as a slave, she shall not go out as the male slaves do. So
And who is saying that?
there's nothing, right? It's just like you can sell your daughter as a slave.
Right, but who said that?
God.
Was it that's God word? You said
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, below, if you go in Exodus 21, just a little bit down in the very beginning, they have to go before God before they become chattel slaves.
that? Chattel slave. What is that?
They're slaves for life. Indentured servitude would be that you serve about 7 years as a slave to somebody, but in chattel slavery is that you're property for life.
And you said these people did nothing wrong.
I don't think anything that anybody did would justify slavery. Do you think that there's something somebody can do that would justify slavery?
Would you? I wouldn't think so. No, I wouldn't think so.
Yeah. So these people you could just own and buy, but Exodus 21 was specifically about how you buy Israelite slaves, and then the women have no really consent in these matters or issues.
Oh,
Like
wow,
that's
I
what
didn't know that.
Exodus 21:7-8 is literally about raping your female slave, same as Leviticus 19:10. They had completely
It
different
says what?
rules. Leviticus 19:10 and Exodus 21:7-8 both talk about being able to grape your female slave, that she is your property, and she has completely separate rules than the male slaves.
Oh wow. Well,
Yeah, something to think about. But I don't know, it's hard to take biblical ethics particularly seriously when it includes things like that.
yeah, I don't think slavery is justifiable in any regard, but but if God says then it should be so. I think if you take God's advice, it works out for the better, and it
Can I-
did, didn't it?
Can I ask a specific question, Ian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
Ian.
So, are you aware of the Canaanites?
You
I
asking
know
me?
information about them.
Or
but
Jonathan?
No, I'm gonna ask Jonathan.
Okay, sure.
I
If it's
know
okay.
I know very little. Very little.
Okay, so
I'll say that.
God asked for the Canaanites to be slaughtered because he wanted the Israelites to go in and slaughter the Canaanites, the man, woman, children, infants, and cattle, because they lost a war. Like what is it, Ian? Like 200 years prior? Or 400
Yeah,
years
yeah,
prior?
it was 400 years earlier.
Right.
From like the time between Exodus and then God waits to deal out the punishment in the book of Samuel.
Right. So.
What are you talking about? The Amalekites?
Yeah. Or no, it's the Canaanites. But I don't think the Amalekites might be included in that.
The Amalekites are the ones that
maybe I'm
got
switching
you
it
know
up.
Yeah. We're talking the
for
Amalekites.
waylaying the
Yeah.
Israelites on the way out of Egypt. Yeah.
Canaanites still were G-sided too, though. Right?
No, they were. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So if you were an Israelite, yeah, I am thinking of the Amalekites. Jonathan, if you were an Israelite back then, and if you were a Canaanite back then, and God commanded the Israelites to go and slaughter all of the Canaanites, and you had a family back then, as a Canaanite, would you fight back against the Israelites that were commanded by God to slaughter you?
Did the Canaanites do anything bad?
The Amalekites?
Did they do something wrong?
Oh, wait, yeah. Let's
Canaanites?
clear up
The
the
Canaanites.
confusion. We're talking about the Amalekites.
I, I thought you just said Canaanite.
Yeah, no,
We
it's
could say we'll say Amalekites for the sake of the conversation. That's fine. The Amalekites were lost a war 400 years prior. God said to go and slaughter everybody, including the infants, cattle, women, sheep, donkeys, whatever. Would you, as an Amalekite in that time period, having a family, would you fight back against the Israelites that God commanded them to slaughter you?
I'm sorry, I'm going to get a little bit more backstory on this war and what was the war fought about to where God
Yeah.
said for take these people's land. I need some,
Yeah.
I need,
So in the book of Exodus, the Israelites are exodusing from Egypt, and then while they're
from
doing
Egypt,
that, the
right?
Amalekites attack them while they're coming up out
They
of
attack.
Egypt, and then the
Okay,
Israelites have to
okay.
fight a battle against the Amalekites, but
Uh-huh.
ultimately the Israelites prevail there. And instead of punishing the people who actually did the crime, God waits 400 years and gives out the punishment to their great 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 grandchildren who had literally nothing to do with any of it.
So the people Moses was leading out of Egypt, they were attacked by the people y'all was talking about, right?
Yeah, the
And then
Amalekites, yeah.
God waited all that time to come get them, to come take revenge, his wrath.
Yes.
He waited.
Yes.
Well, if you trying to stop God's people from getting out of pain and suffering, you got,
But they did. The ones who got punished didn't do that. They
they
didn't
were,
commit the crime.
it's a
If
very
it
common saying. They
turns
say the
out that
sins of the
my
father fall on the son. They commonly say that. So they try to
but
stop
that's like
God's people from
crazy.
leaving Egypt.
That's like an insane doctrine.
They tried to stop people from leaving slavery.
If you think that, for example, if it turns out that my father committed a murder, or like my great 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 grandfather committed a murder, do you think that we should be fucking executing me?
As a human, I don't think it's my place to make that decision. But I think if the creator of Earth, the creator of the rock that we live on right now, says to go, stop the people who stopped my people, who tried to stop my people, I think vengeance is God's and God's alone.
Okay, so
I
you
don't think
do
it's a
think,
human decision to make that choice.
to be clear, so then you do think that if my great ancestor from 400 years ago, if it came out that that ancestor of mine actually was a murderer, and then God comes down and is like, yep, execute this one, you think that would be like
Yeah,
justified? Like I would deserve the
I
death
think it's
penalty on
very
that
justified.
basis?
Yeah,
I think that's like
do.
crazy.
Wait, but my question was super specific, right? I'm asking if you were an Amalekite in that time period with a family, would you fight back against the Israelites?
Oh, okay, that question. I don't think it would be fair. But if I got the knowledge that my great great grandfather tried to stop God's people from getting tormented, then I would be like, well, I don't want to die, but this God's people at the end of the day, and I think
So
this
would
is what
you sit back and watch it, or would you fight back?
I think I'd just be trying to talk to God through it. I don't know. I mean, I can't put myself in that position because I wasn't in that position. And
But
I
you can
did
put
what
yourself in the position of the Israelites, but you can't put yourself in the position of the Amalekites?
I can't put myself in a position to stand up and try to stop it. And that's what I'm trying to say. I can't put myself in a position
Right,
to try to stop. What they're trying to do.
because he's being a genocidal maniac, and your position is to either not allow the Israelites to come and genocide you and your family, or you watch it happen, and then you are participating in genocide because you're being complicit in genocide.
Do you think the
Let's add another
Amalekite infants
wrinkle.
deserved it?
Yes. Nobody can say no.
Just add another wrinkle. You don't even believe in this God, right? You're thinking about this in terms of a God that you believe in, right? You believe that this is a just punishment from your God, right? But let's say you're, from a different people group,
Okay.
and let's say it's not the, Judeo-Christian God that's having Israelites come attack you. Let's say it's like Zeus. Zeus has directed, a bunch of his people to go wipe you out because you offended Zeus. Now would you accept it?
Ooh, that is a very tough question, and that is a really good question, actually. Okay, so if I was a servant of Zeus, and some people tried to come attack my people, and actually, I don't know if I can answer that. I don't know. I don't think I can answer that, sir. I don't think I can.
See, I think the obvious answer would just obviously be to fight the people that are trying to genocide your people. Like that would be
But
the
then
moral. That would be my moral intuitive answer. Would be
I
that if a
think,
god is trying to
yeah,
genocide somebody, genocide is always wrong. So
yeah, if
it's
we're talking about
morally intuitive
morality
to
outside
me.
of God, then I think, yeah, that's what anybody, would try to do. If, if a group of
If you
people came,
Yeah.
saying, yeah, we got to kill y'all. I think that would be
Yeah.
a good human moral standpoint,
Yeah. As my
but
good friend Promoted Live from earlier said, it's intuitive.
okay.
Yeah, I think that if you are struggling to, get on board with the morality of your own God, I think that that's a whole separate conversation. Because if you're not gonna get on board with genocide, then I don't really know why you'd get on board with, homosexual or any sexual ethics in the Bible. If we just go back
Well,
around.
I think my point on sexual on homosexuality, I just think that there's nothing to gain fruitfully. There's no
Wait,
gain in
you don't
that.
think love and compassion and like between a like relationship is nothing to gain? Like I'm in
I think that's
4 year long.
lust.
I don't think lust is a strong sexual desire. I don't have non-stop strong sexual desires towards my partner. I have romantic feelings for my partner. I've been with her for 4 years. We live together. We have a life together. We have 3 cats. So I don't know why you act like I just have this, empty life. That's just ridiculous and
Yeah.
Oh
I
no,
mean,
nonsensical.
and
maybe
let's not get this misconstrued. Excuse me, Ethan. Let's not, Ian. Let's not get this misconstrued. I have nothing against people, people who engage in homosexuality. The LGBTQIA. I respect y'all. But and it's hard for every Christian, who's deep rooted in the church. Especially as a black guy in the South. But uh, I don't want to say that your whole life and what you do with your girlfriend is oh fuck no, y'all shouldn't do that at all. Burn you at the stake. I don't believe any of that. I lead with love, and I believe that in that relation. And let me rephrase myself when I get ready to say this. I have nothing against you. I love you as a human,
You're
but I just
okay.
don't
You're
think
okay. You don't gotta do all that. It's
your
okay.
relationship results in anything for the world.
Okay. So
well,
wait. So if me and my girlfriend get pregnant at the exact same time, would you then say that we resulted in like something for the world?
Well, y'all, well, not y'all together, not y'all like in the
Wait, but
in a act.
a serial heterosexual couple like does the exact same thing I do. There is no distinction because the principle that you're laying down is that whenever we have sex, we can't procreate together. Well, a sterile
Right.
heterosexual couple can't either, but we both use the same assisted means in order to get pregnant, right? So, but the difference is that in a heterosexual couple, only one person can get pregnant. In a homosexual couple, well, if they're both cisgender, but if a homosexual couple,
If they
it's
both girls, they
both
can
of
end up
us,
pregnant.
if we're both cisgender, we can both get pregnant at the exact same time.
Yeah, but that would have. But y'all wouldn't be doing that with each other, though.
But neither would the sterile couple, heterosexual couple. But you don't have an issue with
And
the
I
sterile
understand that.
heterosexual couple.
I understand that. I just and I'm not going to argue you down. I hear a tone in your voice. But we have differing opinions. We do. And we can agree to disagree. I don't hate you. I hope you don't hate me.
I don't hate
But
you. No, I'm just asking what's the distinction between the sterile heterosexual couple and the homosexual couple.
well, if we're gonna chop it up, the only difference is the gender. That's the only difference.
do you think both of them are equally wrong?
No, I don't.
Oh, but why not?
But I figured you knew I wouldn't say that. Why not?
Yeah.
Again, and I know I'm gonna catch myself in a trap with the whole barren woman and stuff. And that's fine. I feel like maybe I do need to gain a better understanding. Maybe I do,
Or just like think
but
about it a bit more. You don't need to just like give it some thought. See if you can come up with like a thing that would actually differentiate these cases. Because if the point that you end up at is you can't find anything that makes the case of somebody marrying an infertile person different from the case of like two gay men, if you can't find the difference there, then
just
maybe you
besides
should
gender, right?
reevaluate whether or not you think that it's wrong to be gay in the first place.
Well, I think okay. Well, I'll say this with the barren couple. Yeah, I think
And
I'm stuck in a rock and a hard place here.
I'll just
I
add one
think
thing that
so.
might make this even a little tougher for you.
Go ahead.
So let's look at my own relationship really quickly. I've actually been with my
Okay.
wife for about the same amount of time that AG has been with her girlfriend, like
Okay.
about
W
4
Jordan.
years.
W Doc.
We also have 3 cats, and we're not really planning on having kids. It's not like
Okay.
100% done deal, but in all likelihood, we probably won't have any kids. But
Okay.
that's a choice. That's the choice we're making. So this is kind of going even beyond the infertile couple.
Right.
You could say, oh, that's biological. It's not really up to them. Whatever, right?
Right.
But in our case, like that's just a choice we're making. We don't really want to, right?
Right.
We're
Yeah.
perfectly happy with our 3 cats. Hopefully, more cats in the future. So, if you wouldn't say that that's wrong, right? When that's literally a choice we're making. And
Exactly.
as we established, gay people, it's not a choice for them even. So for us,
But
we're
so
literally
why is
making that
there?
choice. We're
Okay.
making the
So why
choice,
is
the
it a
intentional choice
choice?
not to have a quote unquote productive relationship and that we're procreating.
Right.
But if you don't see that as wrong because it's a heterosexual relationship, then there really is no argument
Okay. But why is
against
there a choice that
gay people.
for you guys to have children? It's a choice that you guys have, but it's not a choice for the gays. Which is like you. So it's okay to be with a woman and not have children, and but you still have that choice, right? But you just said the guys don't have that choice. So
Well, exactly. So we have the choice to procreate. We have every opportunity to, and we're making a conscious decision not to.
right.
If you're gay, you don't have a choice over your sexual orientation, right?
You
So
don't.
you could seek out alternative means to procreate, but let's say you don't. You don't have any control over your sexual orientation. We have a choice over whether or not we procreate, and we're choosing not
But you
to.
don't have a choice not to be gay.
No, I mean, no, we like people who are gay don't have a choice not to be gay.
Well, I
No.
mean, if you want to get into like the
Well,
particulars of it, like a lot of gay
well,
people
that
could
can't be
choose to have
right then,
children.
because then you call
You know,
every gay
you,
converted Christian
for
not a
example,
Christian.
like if you're like a lesbian, like you could choose to get like IVF.
Yeah.
Well,
But
okay,
I was just
Mister
coming at it from the perspective of like,
Mister
a quote
Debate.
unquote productive relationship. So
Okay,
if you see our relationship as okay because it's heterosexual, even though we're making the conscious decision not to procreate, then there
yeah,
really
that's a
is no
choice.
argument about,
Then
gay people, whether or not they choose to procreate.
yeah, I
Well, it's
think
because they cannot procreate with the same sex. So
Okay.
it is a choice that you're making that you don't want. It's a
well,
choice.
there's no here. Let me break this down for you, Jonathan. You know how we're talking about like infertility and sterile couples within
Yeah.
heterosexuality, and that's an exterior, and it's something exterior that they can't control, and so that means an excuse as to why they're okay, right?
I'm sorry, I dozed off. Can you repeat that one more time? I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
so like sterile couples and heterosexual, like sterile heterosexual couples or infertile heterosexual couples are okay in your mind because they didn't choose that, right? It's an
Well,
exterior thing. It's something else that they can't control, correct?
okay. See, the thing about Mr. Debate's situation, they can. They choose not to.
I know. I'm not
You
talking
don't
about
think they
that.
have a? You don't think you have?
Well,
Okay, well, go ahead.
I'm not
Go
talking
ahead.
about that.
well,
Hold
wait,
on a minute. I'm
also,
not talking
okay,
about
I'm
that.
sorry, but like frankly, typically we ascribe more moral responsibility to people if they do have a choice. Like if you're saying that it's wrong to not have children, then presumably you
Ooh,
would
who
want to
said
say that
that?
the debate that you'd want to say Jordan is like more culpable, not less culpable.
Yeah, that was the point I was trying to make.
Well, when did I say, that, what you just said? Why? When did I say that? I didn't say that.
I feel like
I
that's
didn't
like the
say that.
underlying like axiological assumption is that it's wrong to not be fruitful and multiply. It's wrong to not have kids.
At least that's what you're.
That's just what God calls us to do.
Well, in Genesis, because that's what they needed to do, but he never says it again. In fact, the New Testament is mainly Jesus and Paul both advocate for celibacy. So, but back to like what Jordan was saying too, and what I was
Uh huh.
trying to add on is you're saying it's okay for heterosexual sterile people and heterosexual infertile people to not have kids because they have this, they have this exterior thing in which allows them to be exalted of all responsibility. With
Right.
homosexual people, we don't have that choice because we also have this exterior, I wouldn't say issue, but this exterior thing that is causing us to not be attracted to the opposite gender. So we
And what do you
can't
think
choose
that
that.
thing is?
That's
What do you
just
think that
science.
thing
That's
is?
biology. Homosexuality
That
is just a
is
predisposition.
sin. That is sin.
I
Because
disagree
it
with
bears no
that.
fruit.
I disagree
Well,
with
wait, but
that.
then
Because
by
it
this
bears no
logic, then
fruit.
you would say you just run into like the same thing that you've been running into the entire conversation, which is that, a straight couple that
But
chooses
they,
not to have kids bears no fruit.
but they
A hand job bears no fruit. I don't know. Being a monk, being a monastic monk
Okay,
bears
Mr.
no
Jordan, is that
fruit.
the base name? Jordan, what
Jesus
is the reason
bore
you're with
no
your
fruit,
woman for then?
There's
If it
Yeah, that's why I brought it up.
well that
That's why I brought it up, because it would be a relationship that bears no fruit, right? My relationship.
right by
And so
choice.
by your logic of, a relationship that quote unquote bears no fruit is wrong, it's sinful, right? Then you would have to call my relationship sinful. However, most Christian people wouldn't look at my heterosexual relationship and call it sinful, despite the
Exactly.
fact that we are making a decision not to bear any fruit.
But
And so if you don't look at us and say, oh, that's a sinful relationship simply because it's heterosexual,
it's the
it
possibility
it,
that you
it ruins
can.
your bears no fruit argument.
But it's the possibility that you can.
It doesn't
That's
matter.
Yeah.
We're
Wait,
choosing not to.
why does that make it not wrong?
because two men cannot.
No, I
Two
understand
women
that, but why
cannot.
is the possibility of being able to have children make it not wrong?
Well, because it's in God's will. It says to be fruitful and multiply.
But
That's the
if
whole
they choose
thing.
not to, they're not being fruitful and multiplying. If they go
Well,
Yeah,
their
so
that doesn't
entire
that
inserting
doesn't make
lives
God's
it
will
without
sinful.
having
intentionally.
children,
Well, that doesn't
does
make it
that
sinful.
okay, but it's not being fruitful and multiplying.
But it's not being with the same sex.
But
So what?
shouldn't the
Okay.
person that's actively choosing, like, again, this is going to go back to like what Ian and Jordan were saying. If it's they're like, Jordan is choosing not to have children. Again, wouldn't Jordan be more culpable than me, a homosexual person who has no choice over that?
But you do have a choice.
Am I supposed to be with a man unconsensually?
No. But you
Okay, so
have
then
the
where's my
choice
choice
too.
at? Where's my choice though? I'm a
You can
lesbian.
choose to
Where's my
say,
choice?
I don't want to live this life anymore. I want to go find a man. That's your choice. Everybody
Well,
has a choice. We all
okay,
have choices, make choices every day.
you're gonna run headfirst into all the evidence we brought up with the other person. There's just an overwhelming amount of evidence based on like the frequency that people turn out gay in specific scenarios. Like, for example, if your identical twin is gay, there's like a 70% chance that you're gay. If your non-identical twin is gay, there's like a 35% chance that you're gay.
Yeah, but there's a
There's just
hundred
like no
percent chance that
explanation
we're
for
all born
this
in a
that doesn't
sin.
come from things like genetics. But then wait, so a person who's
Sin.
born gay, what?
Sin. That's
Oh
sin.
fuck!
Yeah,
I thought
it's
somebody
sin.
said my. I thought I thought AG said my name like
I'm sorry, I got a
disapprovingly.
list.
Gosh.
No.
Okay. Sorry. But then do those people, do they have a choice to not be gay?
Yeah, everybody has a choice. We all make choices every day.
Okay. I mean, I just think that that's out of line with all of the evidence. I mean, if being
Well,
gay is just a choice, then how would you explain the fact that, there's all this evidence that it comes from genetics?
well, because we're all born in a sin. Like, is there a
Okay.
gay
We already
gene?
actually
Is
went
there
through
like
Do
a
this,
you, do you
is there
Jonathan.
choose your
a gay
genes?
gene
Can I
like that
can I
they can
choose
detect
different
in a womb?
genes?
They can detect a gay gene in a womb.
Wait,
Because you said it
wait.
might have something to do
Can
with the
they?
womb.
Whoa, sorry. That's not, to be clear, my claim isn't that
That's
there's
what
like
you
a single
said
like gay
earlier.
gene. My position
But you
is
said you,
specifically that there's a set of genes and that under specific epigenetic
and
circumstances,
that's a
like
gay
being in
gene,
the
ain't it?
womb, no, it's
There's no
not
such
just
thing as
one
a gay
gene, it's like a
gene.
ton of genes. And
So
specifically
you can,
there's epigenetic, well, let's calm down. There's epigenetic expression that if you're in the womb and you get exposed to specific hormones, that it's going to make it way more likely that you turn out gay or that you don't turn out gay based on the sorts of hormones that you're exposed to. So you
and
have
so they
no
look at the
control
gay
over your
people.
genetics and you have no control over the, the womb, which you grow in. So
And is that genetic detectable in the womb? They say, oh yeah, they have this gene,
Yeah, it's still
and they
not my
gay.
claim. You can ask me that
But that's
question
what
as many
I'm trying
times
to
as you
ask you.
want. That's not
No,
my
but I'm trying to
claim.
ask you that because you
That's
said
just not
they
my
can
claim,
detect from
though.
in the womb.
It's
You
not, well,
said when the
first of
twins.
all, I don't think I made that claim. Second of all,
You said in the
you're just
womb they
not
can be.
listening to my
You said.
position. That's not what I'm saying.
Go
Surely
ahead,
But
not.
bro.
also to answer
Surely
your
not the
question,
fake
I don't think if
laughter
you
at a time
strive,
like
but they
this
probably could
after
detect
like
it in the
failing
womb.
to track the
Both of
position.
y'all trying to say something. I
Surely
can
like
understand that.
fake laughing isn't going to be the winning rhetorical move after it's you who's not able to track the argument.
No, because you said,
You made the
well,
same.
okay,
You asked like the same mistaken question 3 times, and I've like corrected you on it 3 times, and you're probably gonna ask it again, frankly.
no, I just want to come to an understanding here. You
Okay.
know that, yeah, y'all have you have a choice. Like Jordan's relationship, he had the choice
Do
to
you
be fruitful.
choose?
He
Do
had
you
that
choose your
choice.
epigenetic circumstances in the womb?
No,
Oh, well, if
but
that's what causes you to
so
be
there,
gay, then you can't choose that. In fact,
Can
so
I just
what
ask you
gene
a
in there is
conversion
causing
therapy
him to be
question?
gay?
I'm not making
Go
the claim
ahead.
that it's a single gene. You made the mistake a 4th time.
Okay, but you said there's something in the womb that they can tell. If they gay
I don't
and they
think I
go
made
back
the
in the womb
claim
and
that they
see
can tell in the womb. My claim specifically is that the circumstances of the womb, that there are different hormones that are released in the womb
the
under
different
different
hormones
circumstances. Like, for example, if you
in
have
different
the
circumstance.
more sons that you have, I think this is the strongest predictor of actually birthing a child that's gay. Um, my understanding is that the strongest predictor of it is how many sons you've already had. That as you have additional sons, it becomes increasingly more likely that these sons are gay.
It's called the birth order effect.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the science behind that then? If the more sons you have, the more time they spent in that womb with that genetic, they have the more higher chance of getting that genetic in that same womb. Is that what you're trying to
It's
say?
not about getting a
Or
gene, it's about whether that gene gets expressed. There's like kind of two processes that are important here. Obviously, the genetics that underlie it are important. They do play a role, obviously, but not all of your genes get expressed. There are some genes that get expressed only in certain circumstances.
and those circumstances are being like one of the last children of your child of your mother.
Yeah, like if you're exposed to like specific hormones. Like so say for example, that the sort of like hormones that get released change as you have more and more sons. That
Right.
as there are more sons, the sort of like hormones, the compound of hormones that the embryo is exposed to change. Um, it could be the case that your genes will get expressed or not expressed on the basis of that cocktail of hormones. And as it goes
Do you
on,
know the
as there are
name of
more and
that
more
specific
sons,
hormone?
it's going to be the case that it's going to be just way more likely that you have like a gay son.
Do you know the name of that specific hormone that be in the womb?
I don't know if
It's
it's just
probably
one
like a
hormone.
different mixture of estrogens and testosterone and stuff like that. Like different androgens and estrogens are probably like a different mix of androgens and estrogens is probably what determines it.
So it's a mix of estrogen and other shit, is what you're saying.
Yeah,
So
like different ratios and stuff like that. I mean, I'm not totally clear, but like
a
it's
different ratio of because okay, when we talking about genes,
uh-huh.
and so like we talking about like eye color, hair color, how tall you're gonna be, you know,
Did you
your
understand the
complexion.
epigenetics part of that?
The epigenetics is from where?
It's just
So
yeah, go for
so
it.
so so think about it. So epi means like above, right, on top of, and then genetics is genetics, right? So if you think about the word epigenetics, you're thinking on top of genetics, right? So it's
On top of
things
genetics.
that are outside of your strictly your genetic profile that influence your gene expression, just as Ian's been saying. And
So, oh,
a lot of
okay.
those things are hormones.
Epigenetics. That's what that
So
is.
epigenetics.
Okay.
So a great example of epigenetics is you have a lot of genes that regulate how your body responds to starvation, right?
Okay.
But if you're not starving, right, if you're not at a caloric deficit, those genes aren't going to get expressed because you don't need them. You're not starving. But
Okay.
if you are starving, then your body will
Then that genetic
express
will
those
kick
genes.
in.
That's an epigenetic influence, because when you're hungry, when you're at a caloric deficit, your body releases certain hormones, right? Hormones that regulate,
That tell you
hunger.
you hungry, you want to go eat. Right, right.
Yeah, but other hormones as well that will regulate catabolism, like the breakdown of fat and then muscle. And so, that's an example of epigenetic influences. So just like, if you're in a starvation state, that's going to change how your body expresses certain genes epigenetically. When you're in the womb, the exact mix of sex hormones that are secreted by the mom, different amounts of estrogens, because estrogen is not a single hormone; it's a class of hormones. So, different mix of estrogens, right? So kind of female sex hormones, and androgens, male sex hormones, different mix of that secreted by, the mother and the placenta, will influence the genes that are expressed by, the developing embryo slash fetus. And those can influence your sexual orientation later on in life.
Oh, you sound really knowledgeable about the specific subject. You study?
I'm a doctor.
Oh shit. Okay, look at you.
Yeah,
Okay.
I have like the fucking like nuclear bomb on the panel,
Dude, no
fortunately.
to talk about then. I'm reading the comments and stuff to the same captain. But yeah, okay, well shit, Mr. Doctor. Okay. So you said in that gene inside of the womb, which like the more children you have, it's more common for you to get that specific gene, which is what do we want to call that? What do we want to call that gene? Are we gonna call it the gay gene?
No, so there are certain genes that have been associated with homosexuality, right? So there are these, quote unquote, GWAS studies that have been conducted. So GWAS is genome-wide association studies. And they found that certain genetic polymorphisms or certain kind of genetic mutations in particular genes have been associated with homosexuality. But as can be seen from those twin studies, right? If you've got identical twins, they share the same DNA, and they were exposed to the same kind of intrauterine within the womb mix of hormones, right? They are the, if one's gay, then there's the highest likelihood that the other twin's going to be gay. If you have fraternal twins, they don't have the same DNA, but they were exposed to the same mix of hormones in the womb, right? There's still a much higher likelihood if one twin is gay that the other's going to be gay than, in the general population, indicating that there is something about that mix of hormones in the womb that, that plays a role beyond just the genetics, right? So that's what that's shown us. So they've done these, genome-wide association studies. They found some, genes or genetic mutations that are associated with homosexuality. But on top of that, and this kind of ties into the birth order effect thing as well, there's clearly something that's happening in the womb that also influences, somebody's predisposition to, being gay or not being gay. And that's probably related to these epigenetic influences, right? To something that's changing so you may already have the genes that are, or the genetic mutations that are associated with homosexuality, but something about the intrauterine environment may be changing the expression of those genes, kind of turning them on or off.
Oh, okay. That gives me a lot to think about.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely should. You should give it some thought. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
No, I think I'm done here. I think I've taken up enough of y'all's time.
Hey, thanks so much for coming on up. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you being like
Yeah, no
open-minded
problem.
and whatnot. Yeah, give it some thought.
Yeah, I'm always open to
Fuck,
hearing.
I kicked him too soon. Fuck, god damn it. Okay. I'm sorry, that's my bad. My mistake. Okay. Boop 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 boop. It's gonna be a bit of a shorter stream today, but I do need to make sure that I'm getting to sleep on time. So I'm dropping a new YouTube video right now. It's from a little bit ago, but you'll all know the story. Real Ian fans will know. It's titled "Creep Starts Yelling Slurs After Losing the God Debate." Let's listen to the preview.
My brother, literally look at my page. I have my brother, literally look at my page. I have my rates stated. There are 400.
Then these aren't your girlfriends, these are your clients. Oh my
100%.
god. This is so
100%.
embarrassing that you would try to claim them to be your girlfriends.
So you're saying my clients aren't my friends?
Not necessarily.
100% not necessarily. I didn't say every client of mine is a friend, but
And they're certainly not your girlfriends, are they?
Definitely shaking my ass.
Are they your girlfriends? Because that was your claim. It sounds like I have two things that you'll never have. One, a valid argument, and two, a girlfriend. Hey, how's it going? Yep. So that's it's live on my YouTube channel currently. Make sure you're giving it a like, dropping a comment, doing all the things that are good and helpful for the algorithm. Other than that, let's read some supers. I guess before there's the mass exodus, join the book club. I'm leading the book club discussion. That's this Saturday, 8 p.m. EST. We're reading the chapter on deontology and Michael Humer's Knowledge, Reality, and Value. That's chapter 15. Yeah, sorry, Ryan. Fuck, you got to come just a little bit earlier. I know in the land down under, it's, you know, it's timing is all weird, but, you know, yeah. Next time, I promise. But yeah, join the book club. It's Michael Humer's Knowledge, Reality, and Value. It's an introductory philosophy book. Everyone here is capable of reading it. It's on Audible, so you can come listen to the Audible. It's, I don't know, man, probably like 45 minutes. It's super easy. And it's interesting. We'll talk about all sorts of moral dilemmas. Other than that, let's read some supers. Adam Earth, thanks so much for the super chat. Attempt to simplify: skin cells become stem cells that become gametes that can be differentiated into egg or sperm that can then be used for in vitro. Woman wouldn't even need a surrogate. That's interesting. Holy shit. Grok, is this real? I actually, yeah. Wait, do you know?
Yeah, that's the IVG thing that or the in vitro gametogenesis thing that you kind of brought up earlier.
That's super cool, actually. Holy
Yeah.
shit. Yeah, soon enough.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they induce some of the woman's own stem cells, I think, to become like sperm cells, and so then, or woman's, and so then they can kind of procreate that way.
That's quite fascinating.
Yeah.
Heterodox agnostic, thanks so much for the 50 NOK. When do you think ends justify the means? I think that there's like circumstances where it definitely seems like the consequentialist answer is the right one. Like, for example, let's say that there's like a disease that's like horrible and painful to die from. And in order to synthesize the cure to that disease, you need one single hair from the head of one person who doesn't want to give it to you. I actually think it's like probably okay to come in, like swoop in with like scissors and fucking like take a single hair. That's I think that's permissible if it means like saving the entire planet from like a horrible, excruciating death. I think that's probably fine, actually. Like I think that all else equal, you shouldn't do that. Like you definitely have reasons to not do that, to not like violate this person's consent. I just think you have like way greater reasons to do so in a circumstance like that, where it's like trivial. It's like trivially easy. But that's why moral particularism to me is the correct moral theory. Relax with Russell ASMR. Thanks so much for the super chat. The problem with this caller and many others is that they're going off of what they've heard about the book and have never actually bothered to read it. True, giga true, even. Relax with Russell ASMR. You're pretending the kids thing is the issue. I don't know what this is in response to. Through IVG.
I think it was response to the last guest.
Oh, sure. Through IVG, same-sex couple, qubit. I don't know how to read these fucking Gen Alpha names, dude. N qubit Obents. thanks so much for the super chat. Through IVG, a same-sex couple could actually reproduce by themselves by taking a stem cell from one partner and turning it into an egg or a sperm cell. True. That actually I've been told. I've been informed even. But yeah, I look forward to running that argument. People like to say, well, you still need the sperm. Well, you still need the sperm from elsewhere.
What you'll run into is that it causes like harm because you're more likely, because we're in trial stages, they're more likely to get like some sort of cancer. So it'll be like, you know, that kind of stuff.
Okay.
That's what I hear.
I mean, that's interesting. I wonder if they'd say that it's immoral to go out without sunscreen.
Yeah, there's a lot of reductios saying like, you know, I don't know if you're more likely to pass down, you know, some sort of, you know, cancer or disease or disorder should you not have a child.
I think there are some situations where you probably shouldn't. Like if you have Huntington disease and you know that you have Huntington disease, you know, then you're probably morally obligated not to have children, for example.
I probably agree with that. Like, I think that if there's, I don't know, I do think that if it's like a seriously horrible disease, then probably, like if it's like trivial or if it's like not that bad, then it's like whatever. But I don't know. I do think probably if it's like a horrible, awful disease and it's like a 100% guarantee, probably you just like refrain from having kids or you like adopt or something. But the proud atheist, thanks so much for the super chat. Donate at the bank, boom, multiplication. I don't know what the fuck that means. Thank you so much, the proud atheist. Let's read Cowboy, thanks so much for the $6.66. Big Diction Energy. Hi, Ian. Love your gravitas and grace, my dude. What tech? Which tech stacks do you work with? I don't know if I feel comfortable sharing that. I don't know. I don't want to give away too much like information related to like workplace or whatnot. But anyway, okay, my newest video is dropped. I don't have access. Is anybody else live right now? I don't know if there's somebody live right now. I'd be happy to direct you over there.
Joel is live.
Joel.
B is live. Joel,
B.
yeah, I was gonna say Belle's live too.
Those are good options. Both good options. I, however, will remain neutral. And I'll
direct you both ways.
I'll reputation. I'll scrounge their good grace off of saying go to either of them, and then both of them will think that I just rated them exclusively. Think smart. Actually go to any live at all, but tell them that Ian sent you. It's the fucking big brain strategy. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, I think both of those are good live options. Anyway, love all of you. I'll see you all later. Have a great time. Thanks so much, all of you, for coming on out. I might do this topic again tomorrow, even, if you guys wanted to join me tomorrow.
Hell yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yep.